There you go. We're live. Hey, welcome everybody to the Bob and Tam show tonight on our Sunday night lives. We're going to check the sound here in just a couple minutes. Let us know how we sound. We've got things kind of set up just a little different now. We're going to be changing here in the next couple weeks. The whole studio here is going to be kind of redesigned a little bit different from what we've got to try to give you better sound, better picture, all that good stuff. So we'll see how it all goes. We got some backlighting, which we're going to have to do something to dim that down. It's a little bright back there. And so we lowered the table down, got us some new chairs, and here we go. So take a look. Let us know how we sound, if it's too loud, too quiet, too scratchy, too whatever you might hear.
To whatever, huh?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get up on this
Scratchy, to whatever you might hear. Doesn't sound like it sounds too bad to me. So take a look at that. Let us know how it sounds on your end. I'm getting here to put it on our Facebook page to make sure all of our face people can get on. Let me switch that real quick here to get that going. There it is. Hit here, hit there, paste it, and it's on. So there you go. We're all ready to go. Going to talk a little bit tonight about Biketoberfest. If you guys seen the video that we put out last night, that actually we cut it and put it out all in the same day to try to give you as much current information as possible. Now we've gotten some more information since then. There's actually a campground, which I'll have to look it up. If anybody knows the name of this campground, it's actually just past, if you were coming from, I guess from St. Augustine area, heading that way from Daytona, going out to Ormond Beach. It's the next exit past Teddy Morris is there. There's a campground there that's offering, they've got their campground's able to work. It's all up and going. They've also got a place you can store trailers if you need to drop a trailer off, if you bring your motorcycle that way. So I'll look it up and see if it is. I've had a couple people say that they've stayed there in the past and said, you want to know why we never stayed there and don't really know, never been there. So just one more place to think about. Somebody else had made a comment on there that they thought Crazy Horse could be muddy. I'm going to think that it's not going to be really bad muddy because last year when it rained a couple of days over that first weekend, they canceled, they wouldn't let anybody in. And so people had to kind of move around a little bit. It was last year, wasn't it? Was it this year that we got that rain and those guys were rained out? That first weekend. Yeah. That we got rain. So they kind of stopped everybody for a couple of days and then they let them come in after that. So things can happen. You know, we could get more rain and things could change. But other than that, if you are going, if your place was canceled, let us know. If you found a new place, let us know. If there's some place that you found that they had rooms available. I seen somebody today put it on Facebook that they had some rooms at their hotel. They were 250 miles away. So I think that's a little far to hang out for Daytona. A little farther than I want to ride in one day. Yeah. Just go to the rally, turn around, come back. So, but yeah, there's probably a lot of other places to stay around the area, but it's just your typical, you know, the A1A, there's a lot of things. A couple other guys have wrote that on Facebook that there was still some of the A1A, the lights are still out. Things are going on. Now, some of the hotels I know, just like the Hilton, we actually talked to Tater, that she's been on our channel a couple times. She came on the other day.
From the Hard Rock.
Yep, from the Hard Rock. And they're pretty much still going over there. But some of the hotels ended up, they closed up for a couple of days just to do some good housekeeping, make sure everything's good. So they'll be reopened up. Like I think the Hilton's that way. They're not going to open up till the 17th. So there may be some options like that. That's why I tell people, if you're going to get up, you know, maybe, hey, I'm not sure if I got a place to stay. Thursday morning, I'd start calling, or Wednesday night. I'd call Wednesday night to some of these hotels that said they're closed, and I'd give them another shot, and even Thursday morning, because some of them may have just been closed and they wanted to wait to see how they were going to do. You know, I don't hear that much about people being dispersed, that they're using a lot of the hotels for that, where, you know, we've heard that in past hurricanes, that kind of filled up some of the hotels and stuff. So almost everybody we've talked to has done pretty well through the hurricane. All of our subscribers that we know that are down there and friends that we have that are in Florida, that most of them all had, you know, a couple of days without electricity. Most of them didn't really have, some had some flooding, but I mean, nothing that really got into their houses and stuff that we know of. You know, no damage that they could report. That not saying that you don't want to rip some tiles off the roof that you might not see for later on. But overall, it seems like most of the people, but I mean, I think a lot of the damage, Tam said it on the video that we did, a lot of more damage, I think, happened during those tornadoes that came through the more southern central Florida. A lot of them came through. Can't read your comments?
No, I just wanted to know who it was by, even Steven. He said, what about the Lone Star Rally?
Everything there, we are still go there. Panama City's still full going, Thunder Beach. So I don't think anything, we haven't heard anything about Galveston really having any damage. Because I think that hurricane kind of came up and around.
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of rumors that there's another one coming. When we got a hold of somebody from the National Weather Bureau, emailed them, and they wrote me back and said there is no other hurricanes at this moment anywhere down south in the Gulf area or the Atlantic area there. So I don't know where people are putting stuff up. I think a lot of people just try to stir the pot, especially on Facebook. People are just trying to tell you some stupid stuff that's not true to get people to rile up. It's like, oh, I hate those. I'm going to bring my trailer down, or I'm going to bring my Can-Am down. Hey, we have plenty of parking. And of course, everybody jumps on the bandwagon and goes at it. And it's 99% of these people, one, they probably aren't even coming to the motorcycle rallies at all. And two, they probably don't own a motorcycle, a Can-Am, or a trailer. So it's just people that love to stir the pot to get it going. And we all should just take a higher step and just stay away from those comments.
Well, Sanibel's on, and she was down there in it. She lives down there in Fort Myers. So her and Joe, Lisa and Joe.
So how'd you guys do?
They said they're doing well. It wasn't as bad as they thought it would. I guess it could have been. And Neil said he didn't miss out on it. They had 95-mile-an-hour winds up there in Alaska.
Jeez.
So must have got some. There's Daryl S. and Tammy. How are you guys doing?
And Daryl, he's actually going to be going to the rally. I asked him if he sent us some photos and stuff. Now I've seen some pictures after we did the video. Somebody posted some stuff, and if you go to Midwest Motorcycles there in Daytona to their Facebook page, they actually reposted it. They just took the guy's link. But it actually looks like some of the buildings downtown Daytona Main Street got blown out. All the windows are blown out.
Did you see that one thing where the canopy was missing? It said barbecue above it?
Yeah, that's a barbecue place we eat at.
No, I didn't know if you knew that or
Yeah,
not.
I seen. So there's a bunch of stuff like the barbecue place. We've done a couple. I think we did a live from there before, sat out on the patio, where their cover's no longer there. They got a patio, but it's not covered anymore. So there is some issues like that. But I think most of other than those windows being blown out, that kind of looks like it might be on the same side as one sexy biker chick store is, but closer to the A1A. Because when I kind of looked at those pictures, but I don't really remember a second floor having all those windows. So it's very possible that maybe it's not that road. Maybe it's the is it Gravois? What's that road where you got the restaurants we like to eat at? Granada. It's very possible it could have been on there. There's another street that goes down, or it could even have been on International Speedway. It didn't say where the picture was at. So I don't know. So far, everybody that's been kind of sending me some stuff and telling me stuff about Main Street doesn't seem so bad. Nobody has said something about, oh man, there's a whole block that's completely gone, or they lost their windows. Because this actually showed 2 stories, and pretty much it could even be something that was on the A1A. One of those little malls there. It could have been something like that I'm not used to seeing a second
the only
floor.
one on Main Street that has the 2 stories and all glass is that right there on the corner, that beach shop.
Yeah, but this was like a whole block that it showed.
Oh, okay.
So you just kind of had a middle shot looking down the street. It looked like it could have been Main Street, but of course the picture was not labeled. So you didn't know where it was. It's just somebody went around town and I guess took some of the devastating pictures and like I say, it's somebody else wrote today, which it's controversy from the person I talked to yesterday that said the A1A was in pretty good shape, just a little bit of sand at one of the roads, which I said probably was the loop. Somebody said the day they went on it had sand up and down the whole road. So I don't know. I'm going to believe the guy that I got my contact from, the information that it was okay. But I don't know if there's any wind blowing down there, that wind could be blowing it up. We're not seeing any more rain. At this moment, there is a possibility, a 30% chance that I think Friday and Saturday this week, there's a good possibility. But I mean, Teddy Moore's has his 3-wheel rally that took off yesterday. They had a trike show, and some people went off of that, and it looked like they had a pretty good turnout at their event. It's trikes. But some of the vendors are already there. So I don't know who. I'm sorry, Adam, I didn't call him, but I mean, I've been looking at his Facebook or his YouTube channel. He hasn't put anything out other than his ride last week. So I'm just kind of curious if he made the decision if he was going or not. I don't know. Because you pretty much would lose your money that you paid for the booth. They're probably not going to reimburse you from that. But You wouldn't be
They
spending.
would still go.
You wouldn't spend, well, any vendor that would be doing this, you wouldn't be spending the money to get there, because most of these big trucks average about $1 a mile. That's what most of them tell me that it costs them to get to the rally. Plus the people you got to bring that you're going to have to pay for. Now in Adam's case, he's got a truck that everybody kind of stays in there, but Chip kind of gets, I think he brings his trailer down and parks it somewhere. I don't know where he parks it at. So I don't know if like I say, I haven't heard, I'm not saying he's not going. Because a lot of people thought that when we talked about him in Myrtle Beach that he wasn't there. He wasn't in Myrtle Beach. It was actually Chip and his son were down there. So we never said that there was not going to be an AMSOIL truck there. We just said Adam wasn't going to be there because he was going to be over the Smoky Mountain this year. And that I had said in the comment that I couldn't believe that he would totally give it up. But we didn't know he had a second truck running. And we've never seen him have a second truck before, so you can't assume. And,
First time
and we don't call everybody. A lot of stuff I look at, it comes up on Facebook. A lot of our vendors, all about customs, which we knew he was coming already. He was there during the hurricane. They actually got down there right after Myrtle Beach. They went straight down there. So they were down there during the hurricane with the trailers and stuff, and probably down there around Teddy Morris's is probably where they were all sitting around at. But mostly, you're probably going to see the majority of the vendors are going to come. You might see some of the smaller ones, like Harley One Forever. I think that's who wrote me a while ago and told me that that shock guy's going to be there. The one that's from Florida.
Okay. Something suspension.
Yeah, technology.
Custom. Oh, maybe technology suspension.
They were going to be there, which that's their area. They're from Florida, so that
makes sense.
We weren't saying who wasn't going to be there. We just knew the people that we knew for sure that was already planning to be there. We talked to George from the cigars, and he got a little water in his shop.
Yeah.
But it took a day or two to get it cleaned up, and he said, I'll be full open by the weekend. So he was probably open already Saturday and Sunday too.
Yeah.
So George is all going good. 160 Biker Chick didn't really have any damage at her property, so she was good. All the bars are pretty much on Main Street are open. I'll be posting their flyers on our Bob and Cam page, both of them, to where if you are going down, you can kind of see. I kind of went through and collected a bunch of flyers that I've seen that people are having. Other than the Iron Horse, not the Iron Horse, but the Broken Spoke, that's really the only bar at this moment that I know is not going to open, but they weren't going to open anyway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't any shocker that for years they didn't do it on Biketoberfest, but last year they did. And I think it's because Rusty Wallace had gotten more involved with them, and I think he wanted to be down there for the fall rally. So that's kind of what I think. I thought they would do it again this year, but they all went, Rusty Wallace and then went to Lake of the Ozarks. So maybe they decided they didn't want to do those so close together. I don't know. Don't know what the story is. They didn't have any bikes to make down there.
Glad you've got some nice weather up there in Montana, because it's still hotter than heck down here in Arizona. We were over at our daughter's house for a minute, and it was warm over there. It's still hot here. It's still in the hundreds.
Nope, it's 98 degrees.
Well, most of
we got a cool wave coming. We might even see the 80s this week coming up.
So my shirt says, "Hold on, let me overthink this." That's what my shirt says, Janice.
Yeah. So there's where we're at. So that's a little bit of just information on Biketoberfest.
Oh, geez.
What?
There was just a third attempt on Trump's.
I know. He sent the video. I didn't have time to watch the video, so I don't know what it is. We won't talk about it
Mike,
now.
he made it.
I figured by the time I looked at it, it would be late coming on here, so we'll have to look at it later and see what's supposed to be.
What happened?
And but I mean, there's a lot of
Maybe better.
Not to really get into politics. You should vote. Everybody should get out and vote. Make sure you're registered. Well, it's too late if you're not registered.
Yeah.
Well, unless depending on what state you live in, you don't have to be registered. But typically, you should be registered to vote. And you should get out and vote. It's American right. It's something to do. It's something to where you can at least say, even if I'm not always believing what
either party says.
Well, first of all, there's a lot of lies coming out on both sides. Doesn't matter who you are, what party you're related to. They're all lying. And that's what's really sad about what you want. And it kind of goes down to what I really roll down to this is, one guy here was president 4 years ago. So for 8 years ago, he was president. If you liked what he did, liked where he was going, that's probably who you should vote for. If you see the person, the other side, the lady that's running on the other side here, she's been in office now, going to be pretty close to 4 years pretty soon. And if you like what she's been doing and you like the path that they've been going on, then you should vote that way. So that's really, without even listening to, to me, you really don't need to listen to any of the propaganda out there, For one, nobody's touching Social Security. Nobody has ever touched any Social Security. There's never been money stolen out of Social Security. And people say that all the time, and there is no proof whatsoever other than the scam pages. Nobody is ever going to touch Social Security because it would get all the old retired people like us. Now we go in there and we would vote those people out of office. So it's never going to happen. They all threaten that the other side is going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. Now there is issues with Medicare and Medicaid. There's two different ones. Medicare is for the people that are older to be on, but the Medicaid is for people that are poor, don't have any money, they get on that. Now that's different. That's not Social Security money coming out of there. Your Social Security money pays for that, some of that. But so that's not going to happen. But a lot of the other things that they're saying on both sides are not true. They've stretched so much stuff out of proportion. But like I say, if you like what that guy did for 8 years ago, starting to 4 years ago, if you like what that was, go that route. If you like the lady that's in office right now, she's been almost 4 years too. By the time we got it all down here, next few months not going to make any difference on what they've done. But if you like what their path has been for these last 4 years, then you should vote that way. That's really only things you really need to look at. Because they can all say everything else in the world, but they both have a track record.
So there you go. Art's on. Happy birthday, Art.
There you go.
What day is retirement? Was it today or is it the end of the month?
Probably the end of the month.
So,
he probably went out of the month. So Art, he's all ready to retire now, and he'll be coming out soon. Maybe he'll come out on one of our lives. He's been out before on one of our lives a couple years ago, and I haven't come out to the shop and stuff. And he's going to take.
I don't think he's ever seen the shop, has he?
Not to his shop, but he came out to the house.
Oh, I know
I've got him on an
he does
interview
come to
a
the
while
house.
back. A couple years ago he came out, and he hasn't been since we built the shop.
Becker.
And he's been busy, retirement, a lot of stuff going on at home and stuff. So he's going to take about 3 months off and just kind of sit back and kind of enjoy being retired. And he's going to find out that he's going to want to do stuff because you sit around too long, you get in that rut and you don't want to do nothing. So we told him, well, we're going to be out home a lot this year. So he even said that he might come out to Vegas in one of the events we got going on out there. So that's Art. And you'll be able to see more of him. Maybe me and him will be doing some rides here in the future in the area. And because with us flying out next year to most of the rallies, we've got a lot of things set up. We actually just talked to one group that wants to work with us on motorcycles at those events. So we're going to be talking about, well, she's got to send a proposal to them, but they act like everything's great and everything's good. Well, we're not going to say anything until we get it all down and not riding here.
You can talk a big talk, but you got to walk the walk.
So we'll see how it all goes.
Thursday is his last day. Tuesday is my last day of work.
There you go.
Congratulations.
They giving you a big party or just a boot out the door? And so Art's been working for Verizon for a long time. He does the fiber optics, so he's very good at what he does. He's one of the lead people that have been there for, I guess he's probably been there almost 30 years.
At least 30 years.
Been there a long time. And so he was owned by, I guess it was owned by Verizon, and somebody else bought it out. I think they're back to Verizon now. I'm not sure how it doesn't really matter. But he did get a little bit of a pension and all that kind of good stuff. So they didn't get much for medical, so he had to wait a little longer to get out on medical. So he's out and about, and so Tuesday we want to wish him a happy birthday today because it is his actual birthday today.
Yep,
and then what better birthday present you can have than retiring?
Yeah.
I don't regret it at all. It's been a little over, I guess it was 4 years.
2019.
Is that when I retired?
19 to 20, 20, 21.
Yeah, it's going to be 5 years.
22, 23, 23, 24.
5 years I've been retired. Holy Jennifer Jupiter. Doesn't seem that long. Because we've been working and having fun. So there's a little bit about Art. We talked about politics, so it kind of helped you make your mind up there. Don't believe all the other crap that you're hearing. Don't just turn it off the. And as these commercials come on, I just can't wait till November for those commercials to be gone. Over. It's so tiring to see these stupid campaigns, and they're on and on and on. But I guess there is some undecided voters. Most of the undecided voters probably don't vote anyway. Sad thing about it in America, only about 30% of us actually vote. We've been voting for presidents ever since we turned 18 years old. Now, we didn't always vote for the county or the sheriffs or the school boards and things like that because we didn't know who these people were. I'm just not going to mark a box because somebody told me so. So during about 2016, I got a little more involved with senators and stuff like that to kind of figure it out. I found out a lot when I used to work for the union because I had to deal with those politicians. And they're all crooks. And if you haven't figured that out, they're all crooks. No matter who they are, they're all out for themselves. It's funny how a lot of times they say this one guy that's running, he's like, all he does is talk about himself. Well, think of all those senators. They make $176,000 a year. Good money, depending on where you're at. But almost every one of them, within 4 to 5 years, they're multi-millionaires. How's that work? 4 or 5 years of 176,000 isn't going to get me until $1 million. So once again, they're all crooks and they're all out for themselves. So don't let somebody tell you that, oh, I'm the good guy, I'm not taking any money. Yes, you are, because you wouldn't be making all that. You wouldn't have that kind of money in your checking account. So moving on.
Yes.
So going to be working on the car tomorrow, Mustang. We got it out in the garage. I'm going to do a video maybe tomorrow a little bit on that. I'm putting second time I've done this now. Electric power motor in the driver's door. We've had the car since 2002, 2003. It's a 2002 Ford Mustang. We've shown it before. It's her car, bought her years ago. It's only got about 130,000 miles on it. It's in pretty good shape. It's been in the garage probably 95% of its life.
I'd say 99.
There was times that we did have to leave it outside in some of the apartments that we had. But typically it's been in the garage. Even when she worked at the hospital, she parked in the garage. So it didn't get out a lot. And now it's in the garage. It's been ever since we've had this house. It's been in the garage here. And so I want to kind of get it out. The bad news is the tires are over 10 years old. So it's going down Wednesday to get some new tires put on it. Not any real expensive tires, just still $500 for 4 tires. But something that would be good. We'll take it around town. Maybe we'll ride it to Vegas. Maybe we'll go back to California with it. I don't know. But we got to keep it because it really isn't, if I try to sell the car, it's 2002 Mustang. It's not a GT. It's got a V6 in it. Pretty good shape. There's a couple little dings in it here and there, but overall it looks
all
pretty
original.
decent. Yeah, everything's original.
100% original.
And leather seats in it and all that. And so, but I mean, it's worth about $2,500 to $5,000 at the most. Well, it's better if we just keep the car. It don't cost me that much. I keep insurance on it, full coverage, and just sits there. And so we figured, hey, let's get a few things to it. We're gonna be home more. She can start driving it again a little bit. She used to like riding it and driving it all the time. And it's nice to put the top down, go topless. Everybody loves to go topless. And every once in a while she jumps in the car and goes topless. And so yeah, it's always fun. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna film a little bit of that. I'm gonna kind of take around, show you the shop, what we've got going on. We got the trailer inside the garage now. It's gonna stay till January. We're gonna be using that when we go to the Mecum auction. We're going to stay in the campground there. We're actually staying in the campground there during SEMA, but we've got one of their park models that we're staying in. We get one a year, and we didn't use it this year. And if we don't use it soon, we ain't going to get to use it. So we thought we were going to use it there. And then we're also using one down in Leesburg when we go down to Leesburg for their bike fest. So we'll be down there for that. So everything's kind of fallen into place. We're just trying to figure out on the motorcycle situation so what we're doing is we'll be flying into Orlando. So for Daytona Bike Week, we fly in on, what did you say it was, 22nd?
22nd.
Of February, and get there late in the evening. So we won't be really down there. It's a Tuesday. So Wednesday we'll be available and out and about. Depending on what we do, we're going to have a car too. Because we're telling them one place I don't really need the bike till rally time starts the day before the rally. That Friday I need it for sure, and then do the rally and turn it back on Sunday or Saturday, whatever they want. And the rest of the time we'd have a car. So we'll go over, check out all the stuff, show you what's going on. We won't be there as much as we were in the past. We stay there till Tuesday. We fly back out of there and come back to Las Vegas. We'll be flying back into Vegas. So then we're home then till, when's the next flight go out?
The end
25th
of April.
Isn't that the 25th of April?
I think so.
Let me look at my plane tickets. We already bought everything because it's already, sooner you buy them, the better off you are. No, the first one's the 25th of February is when we're leaving. 25th to March 11th will be at Daytona Bike Week. Then we fly in on April 22nd, and we'll be getting ready for that weekend will be Leesburg's Bike Festival start. So right behind that will be Panama City. So the idea is what we're hoping to do, this is the goal. So there's really only about one day after Leesburg ends that Panama City starts. So we'll bounce from Leesburg over to Panama City. From Panama City, we'll do that rally, and then Myrtle Beach will be the next one, and it's about 4 or 5 days away from that starting. So the choice is two. One, if we get the bike that they let us take it all the way to Myrtle Beach, we'll ride the 600 miles from Panama City to Myrtle Beach, take maybe a couple of days to do that. We're going to check out some of that biker bunk. Some of you may have seen that on Facebook. It's just a group of people that got together, and you can share your room or share your property or whatever you might have. So I found a couple places along the way that we want to try to check out. And once we kind of get it all figured out, we'll call these people and get it kind of set up to see what it is. But just to kind of give you an idea of how that is. if you've ever thought about doing something like that. Is it good? Is it bad? What kind of experience do you have? We have something similar to that when we do RVing. There's one that's called Harvest Host. You stay at kind of like businesses, farms, stuff like that. We have another one that's called Boondockers Welcome. You stay on other people's property. Sometimes it's free. Sometimes they charge you $5 or $10 for electric or whatever it is. But it's better than going to a campground. But we've used them, not so much these last couple of years, but we've used them a lot in the past. First few years we did it. We did a lot of that with them. So that's something. So we're trying to figure out now, if we end up not getting a bike, if we have to take it back to Orlando, then we would get another bike in Myrtle Beach. Then we would then fly up to Myrtle Beach. Well, the bad news is there's no nonstop flights to Myrtle Beach.
You have to go to Baltimore. You have to go to Denver. So
it's about a 5 to 6 hour flight, where it almost takes that darn long to ride the bike that far. But we'll have to see how it is. And other people might say, well, just rent the car and go that way. Well, then you got to pay higher to get rid of the car. So I don't know at this point, do I need to get my return flight back from Myrtle Beach back to Las Vegas, or are we coming back to Orlando, turning the bike back in Orlando? Maybe they'll say, okay, you can take it to Myrtle, but you got to bring it back to Orlando. So we have another person that wants to sit down and talk to us later this year, which I really don't want to wait too much later. Going to call them in the next couple of weeks probably, because I don't want, because we need to, airline tickets just keep climbing. And the sooner you can book things out, the cheaper it is for us. It works out a little better, because I think now we're going to, Stephen on tonight?
Not yet.
We're probably going to stay with somebody in Myrtle Beach and give up that hotel. And then I'm thinking we may do a hotel in Daytona. I found one that's a really good price, which I ain't going to say the price yet until I let you know about it. A lot of people may not realize it's that close, and it's very reasonable. And so I've actually gone to their website too, and Orbitz, and it's pretty much the same price. So very, very convenient. So we may do that and do the 10 days in Daytona at a hotel versus staying with somebody in Daytona. Because we're going to have a car too. So you need a place where I'm able to put a bike and a car. So the other place is kind of might for space. So we might end up having to park the car blocks away. And not saying we're going to drive the car that much, but we got to get from the airport to there. And the shuttle, by the time I looked at a shuttle service, they said there's a shuttle service, almost pays half the price of the car. Nice thing about having a car is if it does rain or something happens like that, if we need to make a quick run someplace or whatever, you can jump in a car versus always jumping on the bike and having no other choice. But
and he said his beard's getting bigger. They said somebody else said that they thought somebody else was having a birthday coming up 10 days from today. Art's birthday and his birthday are 10 days apart.
And 1 year different.
Yep. Wanted to know if he was going to enter the beard contest for that guy that's growing a beard out, Eddie. So Miss Donna says, hi, hope you're all doing well. I hope you're doing well too. He's got to blow out 70 candles. Yeah. Neil will be 70 November 13th. So we're all not getting any younger.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Another art. We got 3 different arts on. Or is that the same art? There's another art.
Look at your phone.
I know. Well, I mean, can't remember what the first art's name is. Well, in a minute.
Glasses on.
I can see it. I was looking to see if he was up here anywhere else to make sure. We have 2 or 3 arts on. I think we just have 2.
So, yeah. So we're going to stick with Sundays right now, doing the lives, just for the fact that we did that Wednesday the other day, and it just really didn't have much more than what I've been having on Sundays with the football games and stuff going on. So we figure a lot of times there probably is some intermissions in between, maybe a halftime or pregame before, whatever you're watching. And
got them 59 on.
So that's why we kind of decided, let's just go back to Sunday instead of trying to do a Wednesday and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to stick at the same time right now for the next few Sundays. The only exception will be when we're at the SEMA show, but that's not till November. And Mecum auction, that's not till January. So those are the only 2 dates that we know at the moment that may be changed. But usually during those 2 shows, we're going to do something live during that. It's kind of shocking. Sometimes we do those lunchtime videos and
people where there's a ton of people on.
And they're like, aren't you guys working? Like, yeah, I am working. And watching us at the same time. Nothing wrong with that. Makes the day go by quicker, right?
The older it gets, the more I need a lighter bike.
That's right. I've been thinking about that. And you have to come out and ride our sports story and see how you like it. And I'm actually going to bid on a bike Thursday. Wanted to make an auction, not make an auction, but the Copart auction. And I don't know, it's already up to $1,000, so I don't know. I've already got my limit of what I want to spend, so we'll see where it goes before it it starts out, but it's already, the other day I looked at it was only $100. And then now it's up to like 1,000 when I looked at it this morning. So I'm not bidding on nothing. I've done a lot of eBay bidding over the years, and I learned I don't bid to the last couple minutes, because that way sometimes people just get wrapped up in it and they end up paying way more than they want to. So I've already kind of figured out what I want to spend. Might go 100 either way, but 100 more, but not wanting to spend much more, because it's going to take some money to fix the bike up, and the bike's not worth, in a good day, the bike might be worth 10 grand. But you don't know how much more work you have to do to it. You don't know what, it's got leather bags and stuff on it, and they all need to be thrown away. And don't know what else it needs. I'm not going over to look at it, so I don't have time to do that. But if we do get it, we'll be picking it up on Friday. Go over there Friday, pick it up within 3 days, and rather just go over Friday and pick it up and get it over with. If we get it, we'll just see how it all goes. So that's something we're looking at. And we're hoping to get we found some more information on our 501c. We found out how we get the bylaws all written up and stuff. So we found that. We'll be printing those up pretty soon, getting that. That's one more step to get closer to that 501c. And we'll see what it all happens. We're hoping that that'll be done by January. If it does, then we can start doing the veteran bikes. If that doesn't happen, then it may end up doing what I'm planning on doing here, is getting this bike, fixing it up. She might keep it. We might sell her other bike. Don't know what we'll do with this bike yet. Depends on how good a shape it is, want to get it, and how it all turns out. And if that happens, then that's what we'll probably do. We'll probably work on a handful of different bikes like that, buy them, sell them. Maybe if we make a profit on them, maybe we'll give that money away to the vets organization or something like that. Don't know. Have to see how it all goes. But if we got the 501c, then people could donate to that. They could donate bikes. They could write that off your taxes. We give you a receipt. If you want to give money, that's the write-off. And with ours, we're not going to take any money. We're going to kind of like, if any of you watch the Badgers, they've got a group that's support bikers. Really great group. Right now, they're only set up to, I think, if somebody has an accident, they give them a couple $100 to help them out. And they also promote, what's those pages called when you donate money?
GoFundMe.
Yeah, GoFundMe pages. They kind of put some of those on their website. They got a Facebook page if you want to go check it out. But they do this. That's what they do. They're not taking any money out of the money that they're getting to do this business. And so what they do, they also do another thing. They have also got another page that they're involved with a bunch of lawyers and stuff. If you have an accident someplace and you don't know, hey, I had an accident in California. I don't know, where do I go? Well, you can contact them and they give you a referral of somebody that's expertise in motorcycle accident stuff, a lawyer. And so that's kind of what they do. That's kind of where they make their money at. And so, yeah, they're great people. If you ever want to meet up there, seen them. It's Sunny and Angie and the Badgers. That's her last name. And it's called Support
Bikers.
Yeah, Support Bikers. I don't know if it's .com. I know they got the Facebook page. Let me pull it up here. Somebody else beats me to it.
Thanks, Joe.
Probably a lot of other people. They got a lot of people on there.
Watch them.
Yeah. And Sunny puts a video out every day. And support. Support Bikers. That's what it is. Just Support Bikers. And looks like that. Can't see it.
Can't see it. It's too far away.
Too far away. Can't see it. So you just type in Support Bikers. They got about 55,000 members. It's a private group. They just ask you all those fine questions. But it's just a lot of good information that they give and stuff. It's just, like I say, it's another biker channel that you can check out and see what's going on and things like that. So
Eddie wanted to know if you've heard of the recall on the new 24 Harley bikes.
Yes. And everybody makes a big thing about all this stuff. Pretty much every vehicle out here has had some kind of recall. You might go, I got a car that's never been recalled. Did you ever check? There's a lot of recalls on vehicles that aren't safety related. So unless you take it into the shop and you ask for, like us, we had one on which I didn't even know about it. It's the camera on the back of my tailgate was getting cloudy. There's recall on it. So I took it into the shop to get the oil change. This is a year ago probably. And they said, hey, have you had anybody look at your camera? I'm like, for what? They said, well, we got a recall on them. I said, really? I never got no notice. Well, it's not a safety recall. So it's one that they have to say. They said, well, we've got the camera in stock. If it needs it, you want to have it done, of course, which was. It's night and day. It made it a whole lot brighter. I thought the camera was just out of focus or something. I didn't know what it was.
But we thought maybe it was moving, when you wash it and stuff. I don't know.
So what ended up being, yes,
they said the side ones are.
I'm not that excited about it. If I had one of those new bikes, I wouldn't be that big a deal about it. It's not like it's causing people to die, that they're telling you can't ride your bike. Our daughter actually, on her car, she actually had a recall that she couldn't drive the car. They gave her a loaner for like 3 months. She got to ride.
Because it was going to take them that long to get the parts, but they said, do not drive your car. It was something with the steering or something, wasn't it? I think it was the steering. And it was the Lexus, I think they had.
So that's what I said. They got a free car for 3 months. And so something like that, when it's that bad where it's safety related, doesn't happen very often. A lot of people are complaining about the new Tesla truck. There's recalls on it. Well, things happen. They build this stuff, which it is. These things they build, and they take them to a test lab, and they run, take them out to the salt flats. You can go out here to California, and it's Arizona out here. And that we have these salt flats, that's where the test center is. There's a lot of people that go out there. It's private. You have to get somebody to take you out there. We've never been out there. We know that actually that's what the road's called, whatever they call that track. But it's a test track for running it through the desert and stuff. And a lot of cars end up taking the proto style cars out there and they check them all out. But I mean, they take them through all the tests that they can. Right. But yes, parts fail. And that's, you don't know. You build a part, you think, hey, this guy's selling me a good pair and it should work good. And then you use it for a week and if they fall apart, well, it was a bad design or whatever the case may be. So I'm not, people are like, that's going to be the end of Harley Davidson. No, it's not. It's not going to be the end of Harley Davidson. And like I say, it's not. And especially now, this same thing, they changed to a new model in 2024. So once again, a lot of people were so worried about the dash and the computer because the computer on the new bikes, what they're telling me, everything runs off the same computer. It's not like a car. It's a car, you got a computer that usually, they used to, I don't know if they've changed them or not. But you had a computer that ran the transmission, you had one that did the brakes, you had one that did the engine. And so Harley, all that runs everything. So if the computer goes out,
the bike's gone.
Yeah, it's not going to start. It's not going to do anything. But so far, haven't seen any issues with that yet. So that's kind of it. But yeah, I looked at it, and everybody's making videos on it, making a big thing about it. We're not going to make a video on it. I'm not going to the clickbait. A lot of these people do stuff it's kind of like I did the video. We weren't going to do one on Biketoberfest. But nobody really had done anything on Biketoberfest. So that's when I thought, let's make some phone calls here over the weekend. Let's see what kind of information we can have. Well, we ended up getting a hold of the gentleman there, Aaron, at Crazy Horse Campground. And we wanted to check and say, hey, are you going to be open? And then he comes, he said, you guys need a spot. I'll get you in. I'm like, no, we're not there. And because he didn't listen to our message, he just called her right back. It seemed that we called.
He was on the phone.
Yeah, which is great. No problem. And the person trying to take care of us. And so we just wanted to get the good information to get out to you. Because it's kind of like Cackleberry. There was people that were showing me the road. It was flooded. And then somebody else brought some pictures in and said, no, it's all dried up. Look, we're right here on the property. Now, what they said was the guy that's the announcer, I remember what that guy's name is? He did a video this morning.
Taz.
Yeah. He says it rained yesterday or the day before, and that's why they canceled. I've never heard any. You in Florida, did you guys get any rain after Milton? Did you get any rain anywhere around Daytona area?
You know how it is when
no,
we did
but
that ride.
It's possible. But if the property was completely empty of water and now it's like a swimming pool lake, that'd be a lot of rain. It would have to get 2 or 3 inches of rain at least. And you would think everybody would hear about that and you would talk about it. There'd be more flooding, but I haven't heard anything. I'm not saying he did. It's not true. I'm thinking the water's been there this whole time and it never did go down. And that's why they pulled the plug. Even if it did go down, it's going to be a Cackleberry back there in the back is a mud hole no matter what. Mm. If it doesn't rain for 2 more weeks, it's going to be a mud hole out there in the back. We just know that from people that have stayed there. Rain is not their friend. And then they're talking possibly, like I say, there's a 30% chance of rain towards the end of the week. So it could get, if they did get a little bit of rain, it could get that much worse over there if it's already a mud hole. So there's where we're at. So I'd like to have gone. I wish after we think about it, one, sometimes we always look at things that maybe things are meant to be. We had this all set up. We weren't planning on going to Biketoberfest. And I was having a little bit looking at the airline tickets and I thought, oh crap, we got this extra sponsor came up. We could actually afford to go there if we could get a place to stay. So we contacted somebody and they're like, because they had told us when we were asking them about Daytona Bike Week, they said, well, I've got this place right now that's empty. If you guys want to come down for Biketoberfest, you can have this whole place by yourself. And so then I told her, I said, well, if we can get that place to stay, then we'll just take a car. We won't get a motorcycle, nothing. We'll just have a car down there, and we'll just kind of check around. Because most of Daytona is kind of nice that it's pretty much you can go with a car. You know, down at Ormond Beach, there's plenty of parking down there at Teddy Morris in the back, and they got a little shuttle to bring you up. You can park. Main Street, you may have to pay, but you're within 2 or 3 blocks. You can park in a garage for the day and park there. We might have people down there that would let us park on their property. We didn't ask anything yet at that point. So I thought, you know, let's go down there. Plus, there's some people I need to talk to about next year, 2025. There's 2 or 3 people we need to get with. And so we thought, you know, let's see if we can make this happen. So we contacted the person, and they said, well, I'll have to call you back. So they waited. It was several days, and we hadn't heard from them. And so she said something about, well, you want me to call them back? I'm like, no. At this point, the tickets are probably already gone up another couple $100, and it's not worth going. Because then the car is going to cost me more money. It's not worth spending $2,000 to go down there for 3 or 4 days. It just isn't going to bring in any kind of revenue to even be worth it. And save that money for something else. So that's why I said now I'm thinking about getting the hotel in Daytona instead of staying with somebody, sharing a room with somebody, versus staying there and having our own hotel room to where there could be a problem with the car. They don't have a lot of parking. We'd have a place to park a motorcycle, but not maybe a place to park a car if we brought it. And so they said, well, you have a shuttle. Well, I looked, it's $80 each way for us to travel in a shuttle from Orlando to Daytona. So it's like $160. It's like, no, I might as well spend another $100 and have a car. And then we can go and come as we please. And then that way, because we usually go, we may be staying the first night when we go down to Daytona in Orlando, because our plane don't get down until like 8 or 9 o'clock at night. So instead of driving across, just go ahead and stay.
Well, if we're picking up a bike there.
Well, I don't know where we're going to pick the bike up at. We'll have to see where it's going to be at. I don't know if it's Orlando or Daytona where we're picking it up at. So we'll see how that all works out. So we're still working on all that too. So there's where we're kind of at. And so that's what I thought. So it ended up being that once they started talking about the hurricane coming and stuff, and it's like, you know, it would have been tough because we would have actually came in last Tuesday is when we would have been due to come in. And so that would have been right when the hurricane come, right after that. So we would have been there for the hurricane, which would have been not nice that we'd be there for the hurricane, but it'd be nice for the follow-up. It would have been great because we've had so many people emailing me and messaging me and like, are you guys down here? Are you filming what's going on? Are you got to let us know what's happening and all that? And I'm like, no, but I wished I was, because the channel would have blown up. It would have been well worth being there. But you can't always predict a natural disaster that's going to work out for us. And but it didn't. So we have no plans of coming down for Biketoberfest. So there you go. We're gonna sit back here. I think I'm gonna do a highlight video, maybe Tuesday or Wednesday of Biketoberfest. Take some of the last couple of years we went, make up a couple of videos, and maybe put them out during the week to kind of let just kind of think about if you're down there or if you were down there. Hey, well, this is some of the things we could be doing. But I mean, almost everybody is, like I say, I got a bunch of flyers we're gonna be putting up. Sons of Speeds on Saturday, they're still going to have their race. The vintage bikes, that's well worth going to. I really enjoy that. We'll be there for the spring. You know, Thursday is Willie's Chopper Time show, best show. It's smaller than it is during the spring, but it's a little more easier to get in and out of the place on the fall rally. But it's great to go to. You know, all the bars have got stuff. I think, what's her name? The girl that sings all the time everywhere. Jasmine Kane. She's playing a whole bunch of places. I just found her flyer. She's got like 6 different bars during the week that she's down there. So she's going to be down there. Big Engine's down there. There's a Led Zeppelin band. There's an AC/DC tribute band. Somebody was complaining, there's no big acts coming here. They're not like other rallies. First of all, most other rallies don't have big bands. Second thing is you got to pay for those big bands. So the only reason that Panama City and Ocean City has had bands is because it was the same promoter. So like Panama City this year is not going to have any big name bands. Just going to tell you that now, and they're not going to have them in 2025 either. Just to let you know. So right now, the only 2 rallies that actually have any type of headliners is Sturgis and Ocean City. Other than that, there really isn't any headliners at any other rally in the United States. Just letting you know. This guy was on Facebook and was like, I don't understand why they can't have good bands here. It's always the same old people. Which we kind of explained that a while back. But typically, you're going to get more in there because you're tired of seeing it. Well, Jasmine Kane plays at all the rallies, so you can't say she's just the same old in Florida. She's actually, I think, from Tennessee. And but yeah, Big Engines. They're from like Florida, Georgia, or someplace down there. They play there. And they do a lot of the rallies. They'll be in Galveston. They might have been in Myrtle Beach too. But I mean, pretty much of these things that, and some people go, well, you could have Jackal. Well, Jackal's not a big band. They're an old band that's still out there hitting the road and playing the songs and playing the same songs they play all the time. And we've seen them. They're great to hear. Jesse's the greatest guy in the world. I'll leave it at that. So, what do you got?
So Big Ben said that, I don't know. Oh, we'll be down in Florida for Biketoberfest. That's when we'll be down there, and then we'll come home, and we'll be back down for Leesburg. So hopefully we get to see you then.
No, we're not going to be there for Biketoberfest.
Well, not Biketoberfest, Daytona Bike Fest.
Yes. Daytona Bike Week. So right now we're done with, done with rallies for 2024. No more rallies unless something, we just got done filming, which I plan on doing it today, and I didn't get very far working on it. So I was planning on getting my video done that I did yesterday. We actually went over to Lake Havasu. They had a bike show, a boat show, and a car show, and got to meet. I think we met about a half a dozen subscribers that we know. One of them we actually talked to in Sturgis, and he had some bikes there. We talked to him and got some good interviews from a couple of people. Not a whole lot, just a few. Probably be, I don't know, 10 or 15 minute long video. I don't know how long it'll end up being. Had some cool cars. And so we're going to put that video together. The plan is to have it out on Monday night. That's what I told all them. And I thought I'd be working on it this morning. I wanted to come over to the shop, bring all the stuff that we needed. Somebody took a little while getting ready this morning.
And what did you do while I was getting ready?
I was waiting on you because I couldn't. You want me to take the chair by myself?
No, but you could have worked on a video at home.
I did. I downloaded it all because I hadn't downloaded anything yet. So I downloaded
Always
it
my
all.
fault.
But my plan was to come over here, put the chair, get all the stuff set up, and I was going to go back home. I didn't know about eating lunch with somebody either today. Didn't know that was on the agenda. So we ended up getting over there at 1 to eat with somebody. Got there about 10 till, and got here about 30 minutes before we got ready to start. So it was quite a bit of time. That's the other daughters-in-laws that live out here.
So Lisa and Joe said it's raining right now in Fort Myers.
There you go.
So you're saying you haven't heard of any more rain.
Well, I haven't looked at the weather today. I did not look at the weather for Florida. So let me pull up.
In Alaska, they have mudslides too. That's crazy.
It rains everywhere. Let's see what Daytona says.
Yep.
They have a rip current. No.
Art says if wants to know if we're going to be in Arizona for a while, he might come out and visit for a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll be here.
That second week in November, we'll be in Vegas for the weekend.
Now over in Daytona, it's not raining at all. It's clear. I don't know. Oh, they're down. Where are they at?
They're in Fort Myers. Lisa is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they do show rain down there, down by the Cape Coral and all that. There's some rain going on down there. All right. I kept thinking they were in Tampa or something. I'm like, no, there's no rain up north. So yeah, down south, there's still a lot of rain in Florida. Miami's getting hit. There's a lot of stuff that's coming across. But what the point was about that was we had so many people that are talking about another hurricane supposed to hit this weekend coming up. And there ain't no hurricane coming. But yeah, like I said, there is Miami area. I think this week they're going to get rain pretty much most of the week. I've seen on the radar and stuff, but I'm talking more about Daytona area that I hadn't seen any rain. Because for a while here, I've been looking every day, keeping track of Tampa and Daytona, kind of get people an idea of what's going on. Because a lot of the stuff, you go to the Weather Channel app and stuff, and they just kind of show you the belt that it's supposed to go. I don't think we ever really had a radar that actually showed you the route that it went. Because they kept showing it was going to be up around Tampa, and then it's supposed to go on a little bit more south, but almost all the radars kept showing it in Tampa the whole time. Well, I think with hurricanes, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think the radar really does a good job of picking it up. So we seen one of the weather channels, I don't know if it was Fox or if it was the National Weather Service or whatever. You could see this little line behind the hurricane going back, a little dots going back and forth. I think that's the plane that they fly over and through hurricanes and tornadoes and all that stuff, so they can actually see where it's at. That it could be that such a devastation of disturbance of the airflow that a radar can't really get the accurate read of it. That's what I'm really thinking. I never really watched a hurricane because we don't have hurricanes in place we've ever lived. We've had tornadoes and stuff, but tornadoes are a whole different ball of wax because you could be just like in Florida. There could have not been any tornadoes. Then again, they had like a dozen of them, but they weren't the same one. It was a dozen different ones. It might be here for 5 or 6 minutes and it's gone. or it could run through like Oklahoma and just run all the way through the state and wipe out half the state. So hurricanes, not saying that they're better or worse, but at least a hurricane, you kind of got an idea that it's coming. To where a tornado, you don't. You could go to bed, we could be living in the Midwest and it could be raining outside, and at 1 o'clock in the morning, we can hear the sirens going off because the tornado's here. Or you could have went to bed and there was no tornado. Sun came out in the morning, everything was fine. We've had tornadoes 3 times come down our street. That's why we got out of the Midwest. We moved out of California because we had forest fires 3 times. We had to move out. Now we got a bunch of rocks and just hot.
Rocks and hot. So Farm Dog, he says they need more rallies in Georgia. Do you go to the Angel City one?
I don't think they have that one anymore.
Yes, that's just where Cal was at.
Now I know
Angel City.
Now I know Angel City opened up to let campers in there after that, but I don't see anything on Angel City anymore. But that was a small backwoods rally. We were going to go to it a couple years ago, and ended up there was another guy trying to buy into it, and he was a shyster and never did anything to us. He was fine to us. You know, if we listen to most of the people that tell us not to deal with a lot of the vendors and owners of businesses, we wouldn't be talking to nobody. But most of the people, we've got a few dealerships that have been buttholes. But other than that, we don't really have very many vendors or businesses that we deal with or we've met that we've really had a bad experience with. So, but we're not buying stuff from a lot of the people. We're not doing business with a lot of them. So, you know, it might be different if, you know, and not everybody has a perfect
You're too far up north.
job that you could end up having. You know, we've owned businesses and things go wrong. We're all human, just like we're talking about Harley Davidson having recalls. You know, it's man-made. It's man-designed. You know, maybe someday when everything's made by computers, everything's put together by robots, maybe they won't have all this trouble. But by then we probably won't be needed. And so things just happen. And so it's like us, when we go someplace, sometimes we have a bad meal or something like that. We just don't say a whole lot about it. It usually ends up happening to be like, talked about the Angry Beaver the other day out there in Eureka Springs. And but I mean, we had bad service, bad food, bad service again. And it was just awful. It was just a very bad experience. And they weren't willing to do anything for us. You know, well, sometimes they'll give you a free meal or one free or something like that. They won't even do nothing for it. Too bad. You don't like it?
Sorry.
Don't come back. Well, okay, we'll go outside and we'll tell everybody what we think about the place. And then this year, another subscribers, they all went, and the food sucked. Service was better, they said, but the food sucked. So Angry Beaver is off my list. We won't be eating there anymore. And I won't be
we didn't eat there this year.
We didn't, but I mean, I might have eventually thought, well, you know, sometimes give them the benefit of the doubt. Because sometimes it happens. Sometimes, you know, we go someplace like
bad day.
We had a Black Bear I ate at. It took me a while to get back there, but my chicken
fried steak
was raw inside after I ate about a quarter of it. And after that, they gave me the free meal, but it was already, you know, you want something else? I'm like, no, I don't want nothing else in my stomach. I don't know where that's going to go yet. So it took me about 6 months to a year before I'd even go back in and eat at the place. But typically overall, we've had great food there. Well, we have a Perkins here in town too, and I got a chicken fried steak that I could have used it as a Frisbee. It was hard as a rock.
Do you see the common thread here? Maybe you shouldn't eat chicken fried steak.
Couldn't cut it with a knife.
Well, and then the manager came, because he won't say nothing. He won't send his food back. And the manager came up and he said, do you guys need any help with anything? I said, yeah. Could you help him cut his chicken fried steak? And he's like, why? And
so I picked it up.
He was like, you saw it and saw it and saw it with a steak knife, and it wasn't making a dent in it. He's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And he got him a new one.
Well, you had something wrong with your soup too.
Oh yeah, the soup tasted like Windex. It was chicken noodle soup, and it was like, oh.
So, but same thing. They remade my food, and it was fine. And they gave her some different. I think she ordered something else, and they didn't charge us for anything extra. So it was okay. And so we still go back there and eat. And so sometimes you know that does happen. You know that it's not quite the way it should be, or it's whatever. Like the Jack in the Box last night, I think all my food was microwaved. The fries and everything were real soggy, and the bun was hotter than the meat, and so I figured they just do it in the microwave. But it was like after church, it was like 8 o'clock. We went to you know, that's something to eat, and so we decided
to sharp knife. It was a pretty sharp knife.
Yeah, I would have cut my arm off, and but I could have used it as a device for taking somebody out. Could have used like that what's that thing? 007 or something. That
Yeah.
they had the guy that had the hat that would fly and cut somebody's head off. I could have probably took that thing and swung it and it would have whoop, it'd been gone. Could have kept it as a lethal weapon, but they took it back to the kitchen.
He's gonna throw up. He's got a green mouth, farm dog.
Think about that raw meat. It was raw. And, so I don't know what happened to that. I don't know. Well, see, a lot of
The
these
outside
restaurants.
was all crispy and
Well, see,
crunchy.
that's one of the things you got to watch at. It's like that place Mindy worked at.
Oh, Applebee's.
Applebee's makes nothing. Everything is in the baggies. If you remember the old banquet, you used to eat the barbecue. You used to have barbecue in a bag. You threw it in water in a baggie, and it boiled, and then you dumped it out, and it was cooked. So it was really already cooked, and it was frozen, and you put it in the water, and it boils, and it's good to eat. Well, that's what everything at
Applebee's.
That's how they are. Our daughter worked there. She said, oh, I'll never eat there again. And but I mean, a lot of places do this. It's not an uncommon thing. It used to be like McDonald's. I can remember back in the late 70s when we were in high school, I used to go to McDonald's every day for lunch. We had open campus. And they would cook your hamburger while you were there. You'd walk up, and if you came in at noon, they had a little stack there that they already got going. But if it wasn't busy, they didn't pull it out of a tray and take all the stuff out that who knows how long it's been in that tray. I've been there since yesterday or last week or whatever the hell it was. But they used to cook everything. You'd watch them cook everything. And you got hot food. So now the prices are higher, and it takes you longer to get through the lines, and they used to make it fresh.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, it does not. It doesn't make any sense at all. And then what we used to do at McDonald's is I used to have a dog. He was Rocky. He was our first black lab we had. And he hung out at my gas station. Across the street was the McDonald's. This is when after I graduated from high school. And so at 10:30 or 10 o'clock, whenever they quit serving, no, when you come in there after lunch, they might have some leftover hamburgers that they hadn't passed out yet. So they give them to me, and I take them back and give them to the dog. And
you wondered why he stunk so bad.
he liked the McDonald's burgers. I only ate a couple at a time. I didn't give them all at once. But they gave them to you for free. Well, now they just say, well, let's leave it in that little plastic tray back there in the bin. What the hell do you even know? You can't even see what they're doing back there anymore. Used to be you could see the griddles and
cooking and everything.
Nah, I don't want to show you nothing anymore. We do very little eating at McDonald's. Even their fries suck now. Used to be that was the best thing McDonald's had was their fries, and it's
All
like
about
one
the
in 20 you might have a good set of fries. Other than that, the rest of them are like crap you got out of a freezer bag.
Janice said she was going to go fishing tomorrow, and they said, oh, do you catch and release? She says, oh, no. She says, not in my pond. She says, I'm going to release it in the grease.
My brother does that. He's got a little pond and he fishes. And we had a couple years ago, he fired a bunch of fish. It was really good. And,
Cece said it's all about the profit margin now.
Yeah. And it is. And it's sad. And it's like, talk about politics and stuff. Somebody was trying to say that the other day, too, that, this one person is all because he's so rich. He's up there with the millionaires. Well, if you look at the other person, which hasn't even put out their numbers for September yet, but they were already $150,000 more than what this other person had, putting out his numbers for September. Well, when you see these people that are given $500,000, $1 million through the campaign, they want something in return, and they're all on the bite. I don't know. I tried to go in there the other day to try to see if because the one guy says, he only takes most of his money comes from private donors. Like me and you. If you want to send him $20 or $50, whatever, that's where he gets most of his money. But he does get some corporate money, but I just couldn't find the corporate money. Well, then when I look at the other side, I've seen some really big corporations dumping into the accounts. So they're both ran by the corporate America is really what's running the whole show. Country. If it's not corporate America, it's the rich people at the very top that's pulling the string. Somebody's pulling the string. It's not Obama, and it's not the Bushes. It's somebody else. Who it is, I don't know. And I don't know if you'd ever know who it is. But somebody else is deciding on where we're going in the world, and who knows. Maybe Jesus will be here before we know it.
Frank says McDonald's French fries used to be potato crack.
Yep. They were. I could eat them all the time. Remember when they used to come in a little baggie? That was the kid size now.
Yeah, that's kid size now. It was.
Yeah.
Back then, that was
a small is a kid size drink, and the medium that we have today is the large that we used to have before. They made everything super size, which made everybody big and round.
Super size.
Yeah.
supersize the whole darn United States.
Yeah, it's just really sad.
Yeah.
So there's what we got. So we're gonna be working on the Mustang this week. I work on that. I gotta get some tires put on. I think there's something else I gotta get done too. I don't remember what it was.
The Mustang's got to get tires.
I know, but there's something else I have to do besides that. It seems like.
We got to take the truck in to get the transmission looked at. The little
Before the
truck.
warranty runs out.
Scott, we will be at Kathmandu for Sturgis 8085 or 2085. I don't know where I'm at. So that's where we'll be. And we're going to go to SEMA this year. Who was the guy you knew that did the buildings? Not the buildings. What's the stuff you want? The cabinets and all that stuff. Who's the guy you know at the cabinet place that makes the cabinets for garages and storage units? I don't know, whatever it's called. You know what I'm talking about? What's that called?
Garage storage.
I guess. So I'm pretty sure it was Scott that knew somebody. He said, say hi to him for me.
But he wasn't there.
Yeah, he had already left. So what was his name? I forgot it. Please don't tell me. He said McDonald's used to. The Koch brothers. Yeah, he used to know about them too. McDonald's fries are salty, but you have hypertension and on med standby. Pretty much. All that fast food. Koch brothers from the world.
Could be. I'm not sure who it is. Could be several of them. But I mean, I don't believe China is. I don't believe Russia's running our world. I think we're probably pretty close to a nuclear
There's
war.
Stephen. Yes. Amen.
So
Keep looking up. It's closer than you think.
Yeah, maybe. We just had church last night and was talking about some of the stuff in there, and we're probably.
We started Ezekiel chapter 38, and it's so weird to see.
We're right here. Could be. You know, they've said that before, that we've had times in the past they've said things have kind of lined up and stuff, and it's you know, Israel's going to strike back, and what they're going to do, I don't know. But I mean, there's supposed to have already been a cyber attack, but I mean, I don't on their things, but I mean, I don't know.
You're too good.
Israel's probably the most advanced technology in the world when it comes to, you know, for having such a small military. They've really got a big bang for the buck.
Well, they say the state or the country of Israel is no bigger than the state of Delaware or New Jersey. Which one did they say? New Jersey, I guess. New Jersey might be a little bigger than Delaware. But still, all those states up north are teeny tiny compared to everybody else. I think when they started going out west, they said, well, let's give these guys a bigger place. We're not catching all these. We might have ended up with 900 states instead of.
And it's the same thing with all that
50.
stuff down in North Carolina and Georgia and stuff. You know, the odds are we're probably going to have thousands and thousands of people that's going to end up being dead from the first storm coming through here. So, you know, it's a pretty big tragedy that's happened in the United States. You know, in Florida, I think that they're only up to a dozen or so, maybe that I've seen. I didn't watch the news today, so I don't know if there's anything new there. But I mean, it doesn't look like maybe Florida might end up with maybe 100, which I'm really glad that Florida didn't have, because we got a lot of friends there along the East Coast, and was really afraid that it was going to come in and just take it out. That it would be, you know, the 20 foot wave come through, and it would have took a lot of stuff. A lot of businesses did get damaged. Some businesses are gone. But to see the devastation of this, and people say that all the time, a lot of people think we live in Florida. We don't, but we do spend a lot of time. We spend about 3 months a year these last. We have
been,
and so we were down there a lot. And actually, I had no idea that Florida had tornadoes. I thought they only had hurricanes. When I heard that, but Florida's too hot for us. Humidity's too much. So when we got out of St. Louis, it's bad enough. And so that was one of the reasons I wouldn't, but also that with always knowing that there's a storm, we've lived through tornadoes. Now we've gone through fires, and I don't want to have to deal with a hurricane. And just like here, seeing all those poor people trying to evacuate because they thought it was so bad, and then you got to find a place to stay when you get out of there, and that's just a lot. That's a lot of stress in anybody's life. Just to live with it on a daily basis. That's why I said after we travel all around the United States, we actually figured out, well, I did, she thinks that, we're actually in one of the best perfect places. We really don't have any natural disasters here. None. We don't have any earthquakes. We don't have any floods. We don't have any we have a little fire down by the river or something like that. But I mean, it ain't going anywhere.
Cause flash flooding, but nothing that's.
Yeah. So because where we're at, we're up a little higher. We're not in the mountains or nothing like that, but I mean, we're a little downgrade. I don't know what our elevation. We might be at 600 elevation, and the river is at 200. I don't know what it is. I don't never looked.
The only thing that would worry me, which I don't know how bad it would be here, is if anything happened to Hoover Dam, because we're south of that. So if they would blow that up, all that water would rush down this way. But whether it would get to our house or not, I don't know.
But I don't consider that a natural disaster.
No.
So
it's something that could,
yeah, something that could come down and haunt us
Daryl
down the
lives
road.
down there by Gatlinburg, and he said it looks like a war zone down there. Because that's what kind of went through that way too.
As I said, I've seen some pictures, and some of the stuff is really bad. But I mean, some stuff's not always true. Is it's like, where did we go 2 years ago when we went down there?
Down by
Piney Island.
Yeah, Pine Island.
We went out there because they showed us all this stuff on the news that these places, it was just devastated. So it's like, while we're down there killing time, we thought, let's go down there and see what we can see. So I go over the bridge, and we're driving around, and we're looking around. I seen one house, a double-story house that had leaned over onto the next house. Other than that, didn't really see anything. Most of the houses that we seen had no windows in them anymore. They had no drywall was out of the houses. They were airing them all out. They got a lot of water damage. But for what they showed us on the news here looked like an earthquake came through, or a 100-foot wave came in and just wiped everything out. Well, it ended up being, when we talked to people down there, actually it might be the people we were talking that's got their families down there, who you said their names from.
Joe and Lisa.
Yeah, that maybe they're the ones that told me that was videos from the 80s that they had down there. And so sometimes when we see stuff on the news, it may not always be what's actually going on in that particular area. Now with AI, it's a whole other story now, because I'm also seeing videos of, there was some flooding over in some other country. And people are putting that on and trying to say that it was, one person said it was Daytona Main Street. And it's like, dude, those aren't even the buildings that are on Main Street. And it's like, and then, but it's some, I don't know what country it is that had all these floods a couple of weeks before. And I seen it on the news and stuff. Maybe they had a hurricane go through. I don't know what happened, but it wasn't any pictures. You could look at the cars and see they had foreign plates on the back of them. They were, something that was, I don't know, it was Africa or Egypt. I don't know where this flood was at, but I mean, it wasn't, they were trying to say it was in Daytona, and it wasn't, or it was Tampa, and it wasn't. Well, there's even stupid people that went out and picked up pieces of the Tampa Dome, and they're selling on eBay. I'm gonna give you 10 cents for it. But I mean, one guy I think wants $20,000 for the piece he's got. I didn't know the Tampa Rays were that. They weren't, I don't know if there's any baseball stadium. We had the St. Louis Cardinals, they tore the stadium down. I don't know if I would have been there, if I would have wanted a brick from there. I don't know. I got pictures from there, but I mean, I don't know. But we were big St. Louis Cardinal fans, but I don't know. I guess there's a Rays fan down there that's big, that want to own that piece of plastic. I don't know. I
guess if you were a big fan.
But I don't know. 10 years from now, people are going to go, what was that? Where'd it come from? Doesn't look like a stadium to me. It came off of it. I don't know what that roof is made out of. They said
it's like fiberglass or something.
But it looked like plastic blowing around. It's a very poor design, whoever built that. That roof was not, I don't know why they made it the way it did. It doesn't explain. It had to have plastic in it to where it could wave and it would roll up, versus I can't take a piece of plexiglass and roll it up. So, don't know.
So Daryl, I always thought you lived right there close to, but I mean, maybe that is close. Daryl says he lives actually in Western North Carolina. I thought he lived right down there in
Florida.
Yeah, we're the ones that met you down in Gatlinburg, right? And we went and ate. I can't remember the place we ate, but it was really good. I remember that.
And don't know. Pray for everybody every day. And somebody else said that the other day, that if you were in that hurricane and you were doing praying, you should thank God that you didn't have any worse. That you survived, and no real property damage for most of you. There's a lot of people out there that did. We don't know anybody on our channel. Nobody's come forward, but yet if I lost my home, I may not be on the internet watching YouTube videos. But we may later on hear about somebody that we may have known. It was actually somebody that offered us a condo that they own, and one of the tornadoes went through their area. And but they don't live in there. And they told, think they're going to come down, you can use our condo. So they're, but haven't heard.
Yeah.
So, but I know a lot of people lost damage, a lot of things happen like that.
Yes.
We've seen a lot, like I used to work in Orange County and we had a lot of forest fires. A lot of people lost homes.
Fiberglass and Teflon is what it was made out of, I guess.
But I mean,
190s, fiberglass and Teflon.
I don't know. I just didn't know to see it roll up like it did.
Oh, the 1990s, that's when it was made.
It just doesn't. Tampa
Thanks,
Bay's
Frank.
been around since the 90s. It doesn't like they've been around that long.
Mm.
I don't know.
Oops, I missed what I missed. 1990s.
Hmm.
What did this guy say? Not a fan of trailer life. I've lived in one for years. Yeah, we did for the first, well, probably 10 years we were married.
Lived in a single wide.
Yes, just a short ride for Gatlinburg for us. Okay, so it was you. I just, because sometimes as I looked up in my phone and I got like 4 Darrells and I'm like, and all their last names start with an S. So I'm like, I don't know which one it was. So anyway, I thought that was you. So, I don't have Kiwi and Twerp says they don't have a generator on, but working off of batteries.
That sucks.
But
Both people buy a generator and FEMA's supposed to pay you back.
well, they're in Sturgis are the ones that's building the house on that lot down
Oh,
the street from IS how their house was going.
oh, okay.
Don't have a generator
down.
on working off batteries. So I'm assuming on their lot maybe, because I think they were going to put their
Trailer.
fifth wheel on there while they were until it gets too cold, and then they were going to maybe rent someplace. It was scheduled to be torn down and a $40 to $50 million stadium to be built to replace it. Well, they might think about doing that now, huh?
I don't
It's
know.
halfway torn down now.
The only good thing was there wasn't anybody. I thought there was already people living in it. That people were evacuating.
That people were there for a shelter.
Yeah. Didn't know that it was after the fact. If you lost your homes or devastation, people could come there to have a safe place to stay. It's nice drink over there. And that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid people were in there. But, nobody was talking about when they were, getting shots of it and stuff, planes, helicopters flying over it. I'm like, well, if there were people in there, they'd say something. So finally, the next day is when they said it was going to, I forget the word they used for that.
Mother Nature jump-started it. There you go. That's right, Frank. Said jump-started their plans for demolition, huh?
Well, they just blew up the Tropicana in Las Vegas last week,
On the
and they're going to build the new, won't be the Oakland
Oakland
A's. I guess it'll be the Los Angeles or the Las Vegas A's. I don't know what they're going to call them. And they're going to be there in a couple years. So people keep saying, we wrote the other day and said, what else are they going to use on that property? I'm thinking, by the time you put a stadium on there and a parking lot on there, you're not even going to have enough. I can't even imagine having a baseball stadium on the Las Vegas Strip.
Well, I think they said that lot, what did I say, was 60 acres that the Tropicana was on. And 60 acres sounds like a lot. So I thought, I'm going to see how many acres Angel Stadium is. It's like 180.
That's just a parking lot and the stadium.
And the baseball
that
field.
Fills up. Even place you got to park. I used to have worked for the gas company across the street, parked over there for free.
Yep.
And walked across the street.
So it's like, that's the itty bitty spot.
Now there's more property going down, like where that shooting was a few years ago. That's the next street over.
Place, yeah.
Going down the Las Vegas Boulevard.
Now that may make that a giant parking area.
Yeah, so I have no idea what their plans are. We've seen some pictures of the stadiums. There's 2 or 3 different renditions that they're looking at, but I mean, I don't think anything's been set in stone yet. And I think it's going to take, I don't know, 2 to 4 years or something to get it going.
Kiwi Twerp says when it gets cold, they're going to come down here and visit us.
There you go.
We got hookups over here on the side. There you go.
Yeah. And so, yeah, hopefully by this week coming up, we'll start cooling down a little bit. I'll get some stuff done. I want to work on my motorcycle. Probably won't be doing that. Maybe get it done this week. Might be able to do something if it doesn't get so super hot and get those cylinders pulled off of that engine. And we'll film some of that. Get another video to show you what's going on. And then I'm going to see about that bike. We're going to look at the auction. That's on this Thursday. See what that is. Wednesday night, we may end up having to take the in-laws to Vegas. They're flying.
Oh, it was supposed to be used for not a shelter, but for first responders and debris cleaning crews.
Oh.
That's what it was going to be used for. We saw it was like set up for to house people or to, so.
Didn't know. Just glad there was nobody inside.
Yeah.
You're kind of scary. Stuff falling down on your head and rain and all the other things going on. Wind get inside there and spin around.
Mm.
So yeah, it's just glad that it wasn't as bad as they were predicting. And that, it is tough on a lot of people. I know a lot of people did lose their homes. I've seen some people on the not Travel Channel, but on the Weather Channel that they totally lost their home. They have nothing left.
Well, even up there in North Carolina. I mean, this is just so crazy because they were so back to back. And then Fortunately, they didn't really hit the exact same spot, but I mean,
Yeah,
just
but
so much
that's
devastation.
grateful that hurricane didn't decide to go up the coast like it did on the first one, and where they would have had that much more to deal with.
There you go, Joe.
But I mean, I don't know. And if you want to donate money to
Samaritan's
North
Purse.
Carolina, what's the name of it?
Samaritan's Purse.
That's who you need to donate your money to. Don't give it to Red Cross. Don't send it to FEMA. Don't send it to anybody else. The best thing to do, if you've got any contacts in North Carolina and things like that, the firehouses are doing a lot of stuff for giving out food and stuff like that, is cash. There's a lot of places down there, stores and different things like that have, well, what would you do? Turn it off again?
Yeah, I guess. All I did, it was off. So I went to click it back on. It doesn't matter now. I just wanted to see how long we've been on. Looks like an hour and 15 minutes. I don't know why it's... do it on this one.
All right, so
there you go, Joe. So do we. Love retirement.
Yeah, no complaints. And we'll see how this all works. We're hoping that if we start working on bikes or do the veteran thing, that'll bring some new people in too. Nothing wrong with new people, but bring in some different things to start talking about, to get more content, because that's what that kills me. If you look at the videos right now, even the one on Biketoberfest, I think I had 16 or 1700 views. That's actually good compared to what I've had these last couple of weeks. And it's just, for me, it's very discouraging to put a video up and you work on it, spend all day, and it gets 400 views. It just, that's the part that makes me not want to do it. To get people to watch the videos and comment, and just like here, we had so many people came up to us this weekend. We went to this bike show on Saturday. I don't know, at least a half a dozen or more came up. Oh, we watched you guys. We met you here. We met you there. And it was like, that's really cool.
And they're all local. That's kind of nice.
And so to know
Greg's
that,
not on it.
and they said, well, how often does that happen? I said, well, actually, it happens pretty often. A lot of times we're sitting in a restaurant someplace and somebody will walk up and say, Bob and Dan, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, oh, I watch you guys. And so, yeah, so it's that's what keeps me going. Because you don't make a lot of money on this. Really, most YouTubers aren't making any real money doing this. Some are, some don't. If my dream was to get someday to where I could have 40 or 50,000 people watch one video, I got to put 3 weeks of videos out to get to that 60,000 point. So it's that's the point where if you look at a YouTuber like one of the people we know, Wonder Hussy. She was kind of complaining this week on her channel. I don't watch her very often, but she put a video up. She had about 258,000 subscribers. And she's been doing it for, I don't know, 10 years or something. She's been doing it for quite a while. And she gets good views. She's got between 30 and 60,000. She puts one video a week out. And she's like, I don't understand. I thought by now I'd have 1 million. What's wrong with my channel? What am I doing wrong? And she's trying to get it. And of course, all your subscribers are going to say you're doing a great job. You're doing everything you want. Well, the people you need to talk to is the people that don't watch your channel. Why don't you watch us? Because it's which I find out with us, with our problem is I thought, which I've said this 1,000,000 times, that I thought people would, like me and Art, if Art's still on or not. We talked about for years riding a Daytona from California. I thought, that'd be really cool to check that out, but we need 3 weeks. We ain't going to do 1,000 miles in a day on a bike. We just ain't going to do it. I go to at least enjoy my riding. I'm not looking, if we do 500 miles on a day on a bike, that's a good day. Just not looking to kill ourselves, and we're just looking to enjoy the ride. So I figured it would take us probably a week to get there and a week to get home and a week to be there. That's kind of what my thoughts were. So we never did it because we didn't have 3 weeks vacation. But I would have loved to have seen some videos on Daytona. So when we're talking about this, I don't know if YouTube was even around when we were talking about this. Facebook was, or back then it used to be MySpace or something. I didn't call it first MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace was the first thing.
And never was much into that. And so there wasn't a lot of stuff out there. So then when we started doing this, I thought that people would want to watch all the videos to see, maybe I'd like to go to Laconia. Maybe I'd like to go to Galveston, but I don't know anything about it. Let me watch these guys and see, and then maybe next year I'll watch them again and see some of them. Maybe I wouldn't watch them all, but I'd watch a couple of videos out of probably each rally just to say, is it getting any better? Is there anything exciting that I ought to know about? Are they happening there? And that's what I thought. But we find out that it's not that way, that we end up having, some of you will watch us all the time, and we appreciate that. But the majority of the people are only watching that video. It's just like people in Sturgis this year. Being that we were 8 weeks, there wasn't anybody that we could find that hadn't watched us. At least one video in the 8 weeks, which is great. But then when I said, well, you didn't check out any other ones? Oh, no, you guys had more videos out? 8 weeks.
They just happened to see that one.
Yeah. So that's, I don't know, there's the millions of videos come out every day. So it's tough. So just going back to this.
It's easy to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. And then you get to where it doesn't always pop back up. It's just like us. We have people that we haven't seen in that girl popped up today that we met in Quartzsite. What was her name? That girl that was going around filming stuff. She lives in a van or something, and it's Mary or something, traveling with Mary or something like that. Well, it popped up today on my feed. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that girl was still alive. She's young. She was like in her 20s or something, and she had filmed the camel display
right before we did. Okay, I know who you're talking about now.
And so I was shocked. I thought the girl dropped off the world. She quit YouTube.
Yeah. A lot of people start and they think this is a lot of work.
But I mean, I didn't go back and look at their videos. I just happened to see she popped up, and I clicked on it to kind of say, oh, okay, she's still out there running around.
So they were wanting to know. So Frank, he said he had to clean he had, I guess, that moss all over his house and cleaned the salt water off of his windows. So I was wondering, you must live pretty close to the beach, or what, did the salt water get that far inland? And then the second one, Rod King, I don't know if it's Rod King or Red King, I can't tell. But anyway, wanted to know, is the gas as bad to get in Daytona as it is in Tampa?
But they're saying now, a bunch of people came on Facebook today and said, one guy says he's got a Wawa credit card. He had no problem going today and getting gas.
Plenty of glass in Daytona, no lines.
Yeah. So I don't think there's any issues with Daytona getting gas. See, the problem with that all is the people that, it's like the day after the hurricane. Everybody's waiting in line to get gas. Where are you going?
Jeez.
Sit home.
Frank said the price didn't even go up of gas.
That's good.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know why people have to get out the next day. Now, I can see if you need to go get gas for your generator or stuff like this. But when you see hundreds of cars sitting on the highway trying to get into these gas stations from all directions, people are yelling and cussing at everybody. Where are you going? Where are you going? I would be sitting back saying, I would have already stocked my gas up before I got there. If I need a generator like us, we got a trailer over here. I would have checked to make sure the tank was full on it. If it's not, I would have pulled it out a week. As soon as they started saying hurricane season, that thing would always have a full tank of 36 gallons of gas in it. I'd have all my cars gassed up with gas. That way I could pull gas out of the vehicles, pump it out of the trailer to supply my generator if I need to. So where are these people going? You're not going back to work because pretty much everything seemed to be shut down there for 2 or 3 days. I don't think any real businesses.
The schools aren't even going to go back. I just talked to my friend and her granddaughters are there, and the schools aren't even going back tomorrow. They said maybe Tuesday or Wednesday. So hold on. How are you?
So once again, where are you going? There's no supplies. You can't say, well, I'm going to go down to the grocery store. Well, they pretty much clean the grocery stores out. So it's like, once again, the day after the hurricane, were you one of the people sitting in line? If you were, why did you need gas? Where were you going to go?
Salt goes 25 miles inland, Tim. Wow, that's pretty far in.
Yeah. So that's what's nice on the West Coast. We don't have as much salt as what you have in your water down there. Big difference. That's why we don't have hurricanes on the West Coast, because the water's cooler.
Yeah, we have cold water.
Yeah. Very seldom. I don't know if they've ever had a hurricane that even got to southern.
Well, in the Baja,
I know Baja, but I mean in Southern California, if you even got anywhere near the San Diego or anything, not that I've known of for the last 30 years or more. But Florida is pretty typical. And but yeah, it's part of the life of living where you live. Just like when we lived in the Midwest, we had a fault line, so we had earthquakes, we had tornadoes. You knew we used to call it Tornado Alley. We lived in an area that if you live in that area, you accept that. Just like here, if you live in Florida, you can't say I don't like hurricanes. Well, why do you live there if you hate them? I mean, that's part of living there. It's maybe this year you won't have a bad one. It's like Daytona, which is still shocking that I couldn't believe it. I had to go back and Google it. I think it's back in the 20s or something, but I don't believe any weather forecast When you get back to the 20s, 30s, and before that, and they try to say that this was the temperature back then. What the hell did they use for a thermometer back then?
Thermometers.
I'm just saying, I wouldn't know. Who is it? Some guy just standing on his front porch and say, "Oh, this is a record. I'm gonna write it down." Well, Daytona has never had a direct hit of a hurricane come through Daytona. Because when I was talking to somebody about that, I said, that's one of the reasons I wouldn't live in Florida, because I don't want to deal with the hurricanes. They said, well, we've never had one here. And I Googled it, and it was true. I think back in the 20s or 30s, there was something that went through there. Now, they've had storms, tropical storms and all that, just like here. They had stuff, wind and stuff, but the hurricane didn't go through there. The hurricane, well, see, the problem is once you go across the state, it turns into a tropical storm normally. And so it would have to be one that came from the Atlantic side, which that could happen. But I Googled it, and I was actually very shocked that Daytona really, because even the one they had a couple years ago, it was the water. It was the seawall came in and got all those hotels.
The back, what do they call it?
The backwash.
Something else I was thinking. So that's what Red King said. He was thinking about cancel Biketoberfest until his hotel until he saw our video. So it's still good. He's still coming out of Virginia. So did you call your hotel to make sure it was good to go?
Mainly the ones, which I didn't find that email again or that Facebook post that somebody said that there's one, I don't know if they're timeshares, I don't know what it is, but they own like 5 of them along the A1A, and they shut down. They've canceled all the reservations, and then one of them might have been Dolphin Cove, might have been one of the ones they said were canceled out. And see, a lot of those hotels 2 years ago got hit hard. They really didn't. A lot of them still stunk inside from the mold and all that, and I don't know how they let them open them up. That's the only thing. They should do the same thing in Daytona that they do in Vegas. They need to implode it all, the whole damn strip, and build all new apartments, all new hotels there. That stuff down there, they ain't done nothing to that crap since they built it. And it's like, what a bunch of rundown. And they wonder why nobody comes to Daytona. Nobody comes to Daytona. Let me tell you that in the first place. It's not a tourist destination anymore. People go, yeah, they might come down there for Bike Week. We might come for Biketoberfest. We might come for the NASCAR racing, some of the other events, but not very many people go on their family vacation to Daytona anymore. You know, they go to Miami or Fort Lauderdale, you know, even Clearwater's got a bigger crowd coming in than what Daytona is. And like I say, if you go down to, now you can't do it. But usually when we get to Daytona about a week or two before, the only people down there on the A1A are homeless people. That's it. It's sad, but it's like, it's not a tourist destination. It's lost its spunk. Myrtle Beach isn't too far from that. They've still got, let's see what a lot of these, I think Panama City has kept their up a little bit better, which is still not a crazy beach town anymore, but they've sold most of their hotels and turned them into condos. So people timeshares or whatever it is, and people are buying into those, and then they turn around and rent those out. That way they stay a little bit better shape, because if, you know, I own the timeshare, if I own the condo, I'm going to keep it up, put new carpet in every now and then and paint it and do different things with it, where these old hotels could care less, you know, and it's sad. And it's kind of like Vegas is like that. You know, you get to some of these hotels. We stayed at the Lynx, which I didn't realize the Lynx actually was, I can't figure out what hotel it was, but it wasn't a new Lynx. They just changed the name, and it's the same old hotel.
I think it's at O'Shea's.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but it's
not.
Because
the downstairs part of it, if you go around the corner, there's that old O'Shea's where they used to do karaoke and stuff. It was an old rundown casino that had a hotel on it. And
they did a little bit of painting and sprucing it up, but I mean, it wasn't what I was expecting. I thought it'd be a brand new hotel. We got a great deal, $100, parking and everything. I thought, you know, hey, just for one night, we'll stay there on the way home, coming back from our daughter's flying back. And it was okay. But I mean, we didn't have a refrigerator in the room, didn't have a microwave in the room.
Frank says Myrtle Beach is their sister city, and it has gang fights.
Like
Steven calls it Murder Beach.
Somebody dies every weekend there.
Any word on the Hawaiian Inn? I don't know. Did it ever reopen?
Yeah,
for the first
Remember
time?
last year we showed that it did.
I don't know. It was scary. Because
I don't know. Well, we know somebody that was trying to get on the council or whatever for the city of Daytona, and it is so corrupt in Daytona. It's ridiculous. Probably some of these hotels, to get their approval, that's how they get it. Like I say, these hotels, when you walk in them and you can smell inside, they stink from the mold. They're not safe to be in it. That's how you get all kinds of bad respiratory illnesses and all kinds of stuff like that. I wouldn't.
Mike said it might have been the Imperial Palace.
That was stunk so bad.
No, that was the Lynx now.
Oh, could have been. Yeah, that could have been the Imperial. And but yeah, it's. I would never. The Hard Rock was pretty cool inside, but I mean, it's still older. They've done some modification. They showed us the rooms and stuff. It's kind of a cool hotel because it's the Hard Rock. But other than that, I don't know if there's a hotel that I would stay on the A1A. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been in all of them, so I don't know.
Like it's a Daytona. There you go, Red King.
And I'd be more likely to get some nice hotels out there by the Raceway. International Speedway there. There's a couple of pretty cool looking hotels there. No, you know, cheaper ones. They're Motel 8 or whatever the heck they are. Or, what's that one that Ormond Beach, at Teddy Morris's Clariton. I think they got one of the Clariton down there and stuff. But I mean, some of those were a little bit better price. I think a lot of people say they're going to be on the beach, and to me, it's going to a bike rally. You're really going to go down on the beach and hang out?
You know, maybe if you're bringing a wife or somebody, they might want to be on the beach more than on the bike. Some people don't ride the bike as much. I don't know. Red King, good deal, yeah. So you've been on almost, you got about 15 minutes left.
There you go. Almost wrapping her up today. So yeah, it's been pretty good. So we got a few people here going down to Biketoberfest. And, you know, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with the fall rallies. We don't really cover them anymore. And the reason is because, one, they're such a short period of time. You know, you're looking, most of these rallies are 3 or 4 days. Myrtle Beach is actually a week long. It started Saturday and I went to Saturday. But I'm not a big Myrtle Beach person to start with, but we do really well content-wise during the spring rally. So we keep putting it back on the charts. I just don't think there's much to it. But I mean, it's a younger crowd that you see there, and maybe a lot of younger people like that. All the rallies are a little different than you go to. Daytona, to me, just seems like it's getting old. It's just got, you know.
So there's already a lot of bikes down there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people have been saying that there's a lot of bikes coming. Well, they had the trike thing started this weekend. So they already had their stuff going on Saturday. To where, you know, if you're going to go, if you got a week's vacation, why not go for the whole week? You know, nothing wrong with that. And maybe it's not quite so hectic. You know, everybody said that. There's people on there saying, you shouldn't come down here, you shouldn't come down here. And it's like I said, you know, you're coming down, you know, motorcycles, like, we're not in people's way. You're not going to be riding your bike down into the devastation and all that kind of stuff. And we're not on the beach. We're not doing anything else. We're riding our bikes around, and half of us aren't even going to be riding in town. And riding down the A1A or riding down the 1 or getting on the highway, you're really not interfering with anything that's going on. We are spending money. You know, there's probably a lot of people probably, I don't know how busy Disneyland was today. We have to...
Yeah, Red King isn't on, so it's Red King that's on.
Yeah. So we don't know how Disneyland attendance is, but I would think a lot of people probably canceled their vacation right now to sit back and say, you know, do I really want to go? So
Steven said it's a Merle's Inlet rally.
Yeah. So it's you know, that's what I say. It's we went a couple of years ago when everybody was kind of saying, don't come down here, don't come down here. And there was still some devastation and still some stuff, damage and stuff down there. But I mean, we still got around, and there were stuff, places open to eat and do stuff like that. And once again, we're bringing money to the economy, which Florida's probably ain't getting a lot of that right now, to where even if it's just a handful of us, we're still spending money. And so that also gets the people back to work. You know, because a lot of restaurants might be saying, well, if there's nobody down here, you guys just stay home, you know. And so there's nothing wrong. I don't see a problem with us going. If we were going to go to North Carolina and have a rally, then yeah. But I mean, if you went to the Smoky Mountain Rally or you went to Myrtle Beach, they were no different. You were still in a hurricane area to get there probably. And so there was no difference there. But I believe this rally is going to be a lot smaller than what Myrtle Beach and Daytona is. Because if I was going to come down here, while we're coming a long way from Arizona, if I was coming down there just for the rally, ride my bike, I would probably put it off. I probably wouldn't do it this year. Probably New Panama City either, or Myrtle Beach. Just don't want to deal with it all. That would be my thought. And there's probably a lot of people that got that phone call and said, sorry to tell you that your room's canceled. A lot of times, like the company I work for, I could just go back in tomorrow. If I was going to go on vacation today or tomorrow morning, and I got a call tonight, I could call my boss tonight and say, hey, I'm coming into work tomorrow. And he's like, okay, come on in. It wouldn't be a big deal. Save my vacation for another time. But so that would be my thought. I probably wouldn't go. So I think we're probably going to see which normally I say these rallies during the fall are about 150 to 300 mile range. I think we're going to see more 150 mile range probably. There's a few people that I know even down in Miami and stuff said they don't know if they haven't made a decision if they're going to come up yet or not. And if they are expecting a little bit of rain on this weekend again coming up, who wants to ride home in the rain if you're riding your bike down? Yeah. So it might be, so I'm not saying don't go. If you already planned it, if I had my airline tickets and we had everything going, we'd be there. I would go no matter what. Because I said the same thing when they talked about the pandemic. We think a few years ago in 2020, we seen a young couple. I seen it first with her. Young couple that I bet they had the COVID. They were standing. It was on Main Street, right there in front of the armory. There. There's some grass. They're over in the corner by themselves. Had masks on, just real close to each other, not around anybody. And I'll bet money they got COVID. And people go, "Well, I can't believe they came." Well, if you came to a rally like Sturgis, and the week before the rally, you get to COVID. This is 2020 we're talking about. You're at the Buffalo Chip. You spent $2,000 for a camp spot, and all the other money that you've already spent for that trip that you can't get back. You're just going to piss it away. It's gone. Or you're going to think, hey, maybe we'll just go, and hopefully while we're there, we'll feel better and we'll be able to get out and do some riding. We'll stay away from everybody and all that. Or we just stay home and say, so I lost $2,000 or $3,000. Who cares? We thought about that for 2020. When we had 2020 reserved, we bought it the year before for Sturgis because I wanted to go to an anniversary. Never been to an anniversary year. And so when they started talking about, when the COVID came out, started talking about canceling it, and I'm like, so I got a hold of Buffalo Chip, and they said, we're going to be open. Full Throttle said, we're going to be open. Downtown said, we're thinking about closing, locking everything up. So I told her, I said, well, if nothing else, we'll just go out there and ride and have fun. We've already spent the money. We already got the reservations down. At that point, they weren't talking about you could push it back to the next year. I'm like, let's just go. And actually, it was a great time. It was probably one of the best years we ever had gone to Sturgis. Smaller crowd. Everybody was there, was in a good mood. Some people had masks on, some didn't. They never got sick during that time. It was a great time. And so, yeah, it just depends on what. So that's why I said, would you give it up if you already had all your plans and everything was already booked? They didn't cancel your hotel. Now, some places do. Like, we got a bunch of stuff booked on all these hotels, and most of them, as long as I call 3 or 4 days ahead, I can cancel my hotels at any of these rallies we're going to. But some of Sturgis is more different because Sturgis is one of the things that once you get past a certain point, they don't want to return your money. What do you want to say?
I was going to tell Joe to email us, and I can give you Neil's phone number because he wanted to know how to get a hold of Neil. So email us your information, and I'll send it you guys to each other. How about that? Yeah. Okay. So he saw it. There it is. BobandTams@yahoo.com. That's our email.
And if you ever send us something that we don't ever reply to you, you should try to contact us different ways. We do have several different emails that we can go to. I check them all regularly. Sometimes it can get in the spam, and I don't always look at the spam mail. Sometimes every now and then I click on it, and sometimes I don't click on it at all for a while. So you could get lost, and I may not see you. To where you can go
Reach
through.
Out again.
You can go into Facebook. You can hit Messenger. I get those. Most of those I see, but sometimes that even happens. The other day I seen some that were like a week old. Sorry. I try to keep up with everything that comes through. I try to look at it pretty much off and on all day long. But if we get busy and we're doing a bunch of stuff or I'm editing and stuff, and I'm not always thinking about checking it, typically the emails, the Yahoo emails, that's why we kind of give that out more than we do the contact Bob and Tams.com, because I look at that one constantly because it's right underneath. All my Yahoo emails are in a row. So I can check my personal one. I can check her email, which I really don't look at her email. But I got a whole bunch of other emails that we have that a lot of those down at the bottom I never check. But we have an email for it's a Gmail account that I send everybody to if I got to sign up for anything. It always gets a Gmail account because that way you send me a bunch of crap. Like her email, she gets 1,000 emails a day. I get maybe 100 that I have to delete. She signs up for everything for that same email, her main email. I don't. I sign everything up for my Gmail email, and who knows who the hell's in there. I don't even really, unless it pops up on my screen on my phone and says, hey, somebody sent you something, then I click on it. like my Venmo account, they're supposed to cancel it because I didn't have it on automatic review or renew, and I checked it. It said it is, so I got to go back and look one more time. 14th, they're supposed to shut it down.
Oh,
Well, they wanted me to upgrade. I ain't upgrading.
well, tomorrow's the 14th. Today's the 14th.
No, today's the 13th, I think.
I don't know.
But so it should be okay. And we don't have anything really new. I've got some stuff. I was thinking about doing some highlight videos on my. Cause I got a whole bunch of pictures from Topless Tuesday. Cause they won't allow videos anymore. And we didn't all the stuff I had from Sturgis, the wet t-shirt contest. We lost all that on the hard drive. So far, it doesn't look like I'm gonna get any of that back, so that's gone. And I lost a lot of other videos in there that's gone, but they wanted $1,000 to maybe get it out. It could even cost more than that. And it's like there's not $1,000 of video. I'm not going to make $1,000 worth of it. It is what it is, and we got a lot of stuff I got out of it, but a lot of it I didn't. And some of our vendors that we needed to do shout outs for our channel here for sponsorship, I lost a couple of those. That's one of the reasons we wanted to go to Daytona this year for Biketoberfest, because we thought he would be there, and he's the one that
said he wasn't going to go.
Yeah, so it worked out great. We're not there.
See?
Not there. No loss. And we'll just have to catch him in spring. And we can still talk to him about it. But we got a lot of great sponsorship. Run through our sponsorship list. I don't know where it's at.
I don't. It's probably in this, so I'm going to lose this one again.
Oh, you got to hit the square.
I do. And I go back to open it up, and it's not there.
That's because you probably closed the other one.
No, I didn't. I don't know where I sent it.
So there you go. So we got a bunch of great sponsors now. That's what's helping us get to next year's rallies. We're not real high dollar-wise. We didn't, we're not. We should have charged a lot more, but I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at, hey, if they give us a little bit of money, help us out, that gets us the expense of the airline tickets. And hopefully when I get all down and sit down and look at it all, but I mean, we had a great Sturgis this year and really helped out a lot. It was great. It couldn't have asked for any better. At that point, I probably should just do, which is what I really wanted to do, was just do Sturgis year round and be done with it all, not cover anything else. Because Sturgis is so, and this year it was the best Sturgis we've ever had.
Hey, there's Mark again. How you doing? Hope you're feeling better.
So here's all of our sponsors that help us get to where we're going for next year. We highly recommend all these. Some of them are vendors. Some of them are actually subscribers that have reached out to us and sponsored us and stuff. So these are the people that helped us get where we're able to give you good service for next year. So if you're looking for anybody that has these products, which a lot of you may already know, if you're a regular subscriber, we've talked about all these people in the past. Go for it.
So All About Customs, Boss Hoss, Wide Open Customs, Twisted Tea, Camp Easy Ride, Fairing Exchange, Kathmandu Campground, Pig Trail Harley Davidson, Cat House Lounge in Eureka Springs, Emery HVAC out in Delaware, Michael Adams, he's in Pennsylvania, One Sexy Biker Chick, and A1 Lift.
There you go. That's all of our sponsors for 2025 at this moment. And we've got a couple other ones we're talking to right now with motorcycles and stuff. And what they're going to be more or less doing is just supplying us with motorcycles to ride at the events. They're not giving us any money or anything like that to help us out. It's actually nicer when they do something like that because it's easier to work with. And so there you go. That's how we're getting to most of the rallies next year. If you've got a rally that you'd like us to go to that we do not attend, you can first got to look and see if it's anywhere near any of this rallies we're already going to, because we're not going to cut a rally short to go to one like Milwaukee. Since this year they were 1 week ahead, but they're going to go back to 3 weeks before the rally. No, for the 8 weeks that we're spending in Sturgis, there's nothing that's going to pull me away from 8 weeks in Sturgis. It just isn't going to happen again. So we won't ever probably do Milwaukee ever again, which we all gave them the offer to. They wanted us to come back this year. And I said, if you fly us out for the weekend, we'll do it. You fly us in on Friday, get us out on Sunday. I'll cover Friday night, Saturday, and we'll leave. And they're like, oh, well, Harley didn't really want to spend that money. And I'm like, oh, you're not hurting my feelings. Doesn't matter either way. But if you have a rally that you would like to have us come to, I'm really interested in the Smoky Mountain Rally. But somebody needs to reach out to those dealerships and see if they want to work with us to help us get there. Definitely need a bike.
So if you guys know who we can contact to call them for the dealerships that are.
But you have to check, because we had a dealership that we've had trouble with in the past that we don't really deal with, and they called and said, oh man, they need somebody there. This other YouTuber is going to charge them $10,000 for him just to show up. And I told him, you guys do a great job and all that. And we reached out to this girl 3 or 4 times. 2 more than I would have done. I usually go twice, leave 1 more message, and I'm out of there. It doesn't matter. And we weren't asking for money. We weren't asking for nothing. We were just going to do a meet and greet. They wanted somebody to do a meet and greet on their property. You can do that. Give us a spot to do it. Give us a table, whatever we need, some chairs. We can do that. We could do it live from there, whatever you want. They were all like, yeah. They told us they just never call us back. And I really don't care. We have a couple dealers I really don't care about anymore. I don't really do any business with them. We want to make a list, which I haven't got around to
put on our page.
Harley dealers and Indian dealers that we highly recommend. And that's where we go from. The other ones, some of these dealers might be fine, but it's a lot of times they make us deal with their marketing department. And some of the marketing department, not all of them, most of the marketing department, they have these young blondes or young girls that bob around. Come have a beer with me. We're having hot dogs this weekend. Come see me. And then when I ask them a question, well, how long has the dealership been in business? I don't know. What's your hours? I don't know. Let's go look at the sign out front. Where's the owner at? Can we talk to him? Oh, no. We don't know where he's at.
Sounds like Mr. Bill now.
Some of them might sound like Mr. Bill. But it's just like, forget it. I don't need it. We have a lot. But there's I would be really interested in doing that Smoky Mountain rally. I think that's, other than this year was a flop. But I mean, they've got all these,
because of
which I understand that. This is only their second year. So not asking. I mean, they had some of the big vendor trucks out there. It's the same time Myrtle Beach is going on. But they've got planned rides that are free to go on. They got a lot of great stuff. There's supposed to be, somebody said 3 or 4 dealerships out there, but I imagine they're all owned by the same people. But we don't know who they are. We've never dealt with anybody in Tennessee, really. We don't have no dealerships in Tennessee that we know at all. So we don't really have any connections there.
Well, when we were in Gatlinburg, speaking to Daryl, that's right there. When we left and got back on the freeway, and I don't remember what freeway it was. Was it the 40? I don't know. Anyway, there was a big, huge Harley Davidson dealership, and that's what he said. We should have stopped in there and talked to somebody there. Okay. We didn't.
Can't be everywhere, can't do everything. And but if you got somebody like that, if you have a rally that you're interested in us going to, we're open to any place. But the issue is how are we going to get there? What's the justification? What we hit most of the big rallies. A lot of these ones, somebody said, well, Coney's a really big one. You don't go back there. Well, there's not.
And so the interview was great. When can you start working?
For who?
For you. I guess the way you're going on and on.
Yeah.
Rick's Sturgis, I guess I'm trying to look for a place that has 50 amp hookup. Have been fixing the trailer up, but 1 or 2 blowouts on the way back home from Eli's trip. Wow.
So when I talk about, somebody asked today, if you're looking to go to Sturgis and you're looking for some full hookups, the 2 main places that I would recommend at this moment is Pappy Hoyle's, which is out at the Full Throttle, and Shade Valley. Those are 2 campgrounds that never, so far over the last few years, have never sold out. They've always ended up having full hookups, even up to the opening day. You might find one in every place else. There's a whole bunch of people saying, call this place, call that place, call this place. If Kathmandu's got a big long list, I'll bet you Days Inn and Sturgis RV Park and a lot of them are all booked up too. Steel Pony, a lot of those, I imagine most of their full hookups, pretty much everybody's probably gone already. You can call around, and we're going to do that soon. We'll give
you can get put on a wait list too if you want to.
I don't like that. I don't like a wait list, just for the fact that if I'm planning my trip, I want to know. I want to know now. I don't want to know 6 months from now, and then you go, sorry, we don't have any opening for you. Well, so much. I already had my vacation and everything else, and which is why I've been saying all along, you need to book right away. And the later you wait, if we get into January, you'll have a hard time finding any kind of place with hookups, unless you're miles away. Depending on where you want to go. We have a lot of videos out there on campgrounds. Chris's campground out there, and Spearfish is a cool one. Swimming pools and stuff. They may still have something. We haven't talked to them lately, but a lot of the ones that I'm seeing around, their full hookups are gone. But like I say, Pappy Hoyle, I know they'll have some. Shade Valley will have some. You might try Glencoe, but there's no promise there if you want to stay at Glencoe. Some people don't like Glencoe, but some people love Glencoe.
Neil says Kathmandu. When I talked to her the other day, they only had a couple 30 amps left, and that was it. Rush No More, I think, is a little more pricey. They're not very big either, so I'm sure they may not have any full hookups left either. Kickstands might. You can try kickstands.
The last time we had checked with kickstands, they only had like 3 or 4 left open. So I'm assuming this is a month or so ago that they're probably done sold them out.
So yeah.
So I don't know. You know, the buffalo chips probably, they don't have full hookups. They do have in their fancy part, but I'm not even sure. You know, you got to spend $7,500 to get into their full hookup area. If you want electric and water, then yeah, buffalo chip will still definitely have something. But other than that, that would be my main places. That if I got down to the last minute, those are the couple places I would be calling.
Most places have you put down, you can put down what, a couple $100, but then
By
most
January,
of them, they want it paid off usually by January, February, the latest.
And so check it out. And if you have trouble, let us know. If you can't find some place, and we'll start. We need to start calling some campgrounds. Like I said, we called it to Kathmandu the other day, and start checking out and seeing what people still have left. A lot of this you can go online and look. That's what I do. Like Pappy Hoyle and some of these other ones, you can go right online and they'll tell you if they have spots. Glencoe will show you if they have full hookups. It's not that difficult. So that's really what I do. Is she'll call a handful of places that don't have websites that show you what they have. And the rest of them all have websites that you go on there and see. Oh, sold out for full hookups, sold out, sold out. Well, then you know. Hog Heaven, I'll bet you they're sold out of their full hookups.
Yeah.
But if you want a tent camp, or you want a dry camp, or a boondock, yes, you'll be able to find plenty of places that will accept you. But full hookups is very far. There's not a lot of full hookups.
I think he said all he really wanted was 50 amps.
Well, 50 amp you're pretty much looking at. Well, you can go to Buffalo Chip, will have 50 amp.
No, you would never have a mullet.
Normally, if you have full hookup, or if you have 50 amp, you're usually going to have a full hookup with your 50 amp.
How are you? Rowan's not on.
No, must be busy this morning.
Yes, I wasn't thinking that till I saw him on, and then I was like, oh yeah, Monica and Isabella, how you guys doing?
So we're going to be redoing the studio here. We're going to, behind the brick wall, we have a green wall, and I've decided to get rid of that. Because I have this cool thing, it pulls up, it's like a movie shade, and it's a green, and it really works great. I got one, it's at home, and we keep dragging it back for it. I might just buy another one for here. And we're going to paint the wall behind us, because I've got my bison head, and I got no place to put him at. And so we're thinking about doing more with lighting and stuff back here behind us, look more like a studio, more like a podcast, like some of these other guys are doing. We're going to try to since we've done so well in Sturgis, I'm going to spend a little bit of money to try to get a better sound from
called Chris's Campground.
Yeah.
That's the one in Spearfish.
Yeah, been in business a long time, family owned.
It's a really cool, it's lots of shade there. They have a couple different laundromats, couple different swimming pools, so it's a really nice place. Yeah. Nice people.
Just around the corner from Spearfish Canyon.
Yeah.
So the only reason I don't stay there is because it's 25 miles that downtown Sturgis, and it's just we do so much stuff. When we stay, we prefer to stay somewhere in the Sturgis area, because that way, because we do most of our content starts from the main places, downtown, Main Street, or we're out at Full Throttle, we're over there at Peppy or at the Buffalo Chip. Oh, so you're all within that area. We might go out to Custer, we might go out to Deadwood, but those are just days that we spend, not looking at a week. But I know because you turned it off. I guess I think it was off for so long it shut down. You didn't bring it back up. And so
anyway, there
you go. So any more questions before we wrap up our Sunday evening?
The place you're probably thinking about, Neil, is Elk Ridge or Elk.
Where the cattle, that fancy place?
Yes, it's very plush, and it's going to cost
you can't get in there. You can't get in there. You can only get into that campground for a day or two during the rally. That's it.
Well, even Boss Fawcett goes there all the time. When she called and said that that's where they wanted to stay, I guess somebody didn't write it down. Well, they got to stay there, but they had to move like every 3 or 4 days, and because somebody would leave and then somebody else would come in. And she said it was a pain. We had done that before too when we were down at
Myrtle Beach.
So, yeah. Anyway, yeah. You probably, number one, it's way too expensive to stay there, and two, you probably have a hard time getting in there. That's probably all booked up.
That's the Cadillac. That's where Rusty Wallace and any of the bands that are going to stay a night over, they stay there. It's people with money. It's the $1 million rigs that you see in there. It's the high end, and I don't know what they charge. Don't know.
You're going to come out to see it yourself, Stephen. He said the dealership looks great.
And so tomorrow I'm going to do work on the car, show a little bit of video about that. I'm not going to show you how to install a window regulator on a power window on a Mustang, because there's plenty of them out there. But I'll show you a little bit of what I'm doing. And then maybe do a walk around the garage, kind of show you what I've got in the garage and stuff here. I got to do some work on the side-by-sides. I want to get rid of those. So maybe I'll show you a little bit of that, and maybe pull the carburetor off one of those. And but yeah, so we got a few things I want to do this week. And then I want to tear into
your chopper.
Yeah, my chopper, and get that pulled apart, the cylinders taken off of that, so I can get that sent off to Dark Horse. Got to call them, make sure they're still going to do it, and get that done. And then we put that back together, and hopefully get that all running real good. Got to put a starter on it too, and hopefully have that riding. I don't know if it'll make it for January or not.
Daytona.
And to haul it down to Daytona, would love to take it down there this year, but I want it to be able to where I can ride it in. So we'll have it trucked in, and then ride it to the dealership from wherever we're staying at, and then I'll hopefully sell it while we're down there, and then get the next project to get, and have some more stuff to do. So if the veteran stuff don't take off or don't get started, not that it won't take off, it'll take off when it gets, but it's to get the 501c and all that's going. It's just a pain in the butt, and we can't justify paying a lawyer $5,000 or $10,000 to do it, so we're trying to do it ourselves. All right. Have you passed your time?
Yeah. You ready?
I guess.
Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It's another Sunday night. Come and gone. So hope you all are doing fine, and be safe if you're heading down to Daytona. And if you're in any of those storm path areas where our prayers go out to you, we hope you didn't get much damage. And if you did, you get some help right away and get things back to normal in your life. I know that disrupts your whole life. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Share us with your family and friends. Give us a big thumbs up. Ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.
And we might be working on something, which I didn't even tell her this yet. We may be able to take phone calls and make them live.
I don't know.
Wouldn't be able to see them, but you'd be able to hear them talk.
On a live?
Yeah.
Good night, Farm Dog.
Wouldn't that be kind of special?
Good night, Frank. Good night, John
So
Boy.
anybody that's going to Biketoberfest, or you're going to Thunder Beach, send us some pictures.
Yep.
You can, if you want to let us know you're coming, email us. We can give you a phone number. You can text pictures to that. You can send videos. I do have a Dropbox that I can give you my personal email, and you can send videos and everything else to us. So if you're out and about, send us some of that stuff. Maybe if I get enough stuff, I can put it all together and kind of make a little video of what's going on down there, and kind of neat, versus me trying to take pictures off the internet, because stuff off the internet sometimes doesn't have as good enough resolution or quality of pixels and stuff to give it a good picture. So yeah, if you're interested, you got that, send us some stuff. It would be great to see what's going on. I don't really need to see that much devastation, more about what's going on. Hey, show me Main Street with all the people on it, and show me some of the, just some of the crowds that are out there, see some of the vendors that are out there and stuff like that, and go down to the Cabbage Patch and see how they're doing. And they're going to be the only thing that's open down there. So I don't know if they're going to bring a lot of people who will be going down there, since Cackleberry's not down there. I don't know. I'd be interested to know.
Yeah.
But if you're still looking for a place, don't have any place to stay, you can always get a hold of campeasyride.com. Campeasyride.com. He's got some tents still available. It's a full setup. He's got beds, and we've seen a little bit of it on the video the other day. Yeah. I showed the bed, and they didn't have all chairs and stuff in there. That was from Sturgis. He wasn't all totally set up yet, and so I didn't show you. But I just found something real quick, so I was trying to get that video done on the same day, and I get it out real quick
within a few hours.
Yeah. So I threw that up there. So if you're looking for something, Camp Easy Ride, if all else fails, he can get you in, set it up, and it's pretty cool. He's got hot tubs and cold tubs and all kinds of cool stuff. It's quite an experience. It's great if you're somebody, it's really great if you come by yourself and you don't have anybody. Go there and you're going to meet so many great friends, people to ride with, people to do stuff with. There's even people that go to his venues, don't even own a motorcycle.
No, they just go to hang out and have fun.
Yeah, it's a big party. They have all kinds of stuff. They got stripper dance pole and all kinds of stuff. Girls are doing exercises. And so he's got a lot of naughty pictures too that I can't post. But yeah, there you go. I think that's it.
Say goodbye.
Bye. Somebody else just wrote you.
Rowan.
What's he got to say? You just get up out of bed?
I'm trying to get Lynette interested in my self-car carving a couple of motorcycles for Kathmandu, possibly at a show type kind of thing.
That'd be pretty
That'd
neat.
be
Can you
cool.
make them giant, like a full size? Because they got guys out there and,
Called the Doll Brothers.
yeah, they do it at almost every little
Hi,
town
Clint.
now. They even started doing it in Rapid City this last year.
All of that, almost every little town they're in.
Yeah, they do all that. Get
Yep.
giant.
Sasquatches and, oh, they got a Smokey the Bear that's probably what, 30 foot tall, sitting on the ground. Big Sasquatch is probably 8 to 10 foot tall, and
Pretty cool.
giant cards. Yes, full size, he says.
Ah, that'd be kind of neat.
Yep.
You might try and contact some of the other campgrounds. Might be interested in that.
Yep, that'd be cool. So, alrighty, all done?
Yep.
Bye.